Hi, everyone. Welcome to Pub Sports Radio. He's Jimmy the Bag. I'm Peter Loshak, the Loshak and the Bag show we do every Tuesday. Jimmy the Bag. It's right after March Madness ends. All of a sudden, it's fucking MLB analytics madness. They don't tell you about. That's the part they don't tell you about. You know what I mean? But like after March Madness, it's over. No, after March Madness, it's MLB analytics madness. How are you holding up with MLB analytics madness? I am holding up okay. I'm still not fully prepared and caught up for the MLB season, but I'm getting there. I have a lot of strong opinions about various teams and players. I wouldn't say I have a complete read on all 30 teams as of right now, Jimmy the Bag. But as you can see, I'm skimping on lighting and audio and everything, but I'm not skimping on my MLB research. I might have to restart. You know how I sometimes have my video freezes up. If that happens here, I might have to restart my computer because I didn't even spend a few minutes doing that. How you doing, Jimmy the Bag?
I'm doing good. The whole idea of we've been talking about it quite a bit lately. The scared money don't make money, and the fucking YG song out right now, and people, when I get nervous about NBA, which I've had 27 unit turnaround from down 23 units to up. I'd lost on the Hawks on Friday, so up 3 units. I'm fucking petrified of MLB.
Oh, here's the thing. I always tell you, don't bite off more than you can chew, right, Jimmy the Bag? Now, I wasn't completely anywhere close to being completely, prepared for the start of MLB season. So, a lot of times I would look at the games. I'd be like, there's 1 or 2 bets here I'm really liking. The other 12 games, I don't know. I don't care. If I miss an opportunity, that's fine. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Be happy, have a positive attitude. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Only act when you're confident and prepared. Scared, whatever. Don't, result in anything good. And that's all it is, Jimmy the Bag. That's all it is, baby.
For me, I've made 5 bets in MLB so far this year. 5, just 5.
Right.
I'm watching. I'm 3-2. I'm just watching. I'm trying to get to a situation where I feel comfortable with my prep. I don't feel comfortable with my prep right now. I'm taking it very slowly. I would not. When I first got to work with you in Costa Rica, I was going to 3 months. I was given 3 months, and in NHL, I got up 43 units, and NHL was the reason why I got to stay. I got to continue capping with you because I succeeded in NHL. I had that confidence carry on into MLB because I thought I was a good MLB capper, and I got publicly destroyed, embarrassed that first season. And it was sleepless nights and understanding that I was an ignorant MLB capper, not a good MLB capper, but an ignorant MLB capper. And from that year on, I tried to figure out how can you become a great MLB capper? And you were the one that we would look to how do you become a great MLB capper, because you have years of success under your belt, proven years of success under your belt. So last year was the first year, where I was up all season long. I ended up down 3 units at the very end of the season, over 600 or 700 bets. And I could start seeing what was working, what isn't working. But look, the whole scared money don't make money thing is fucking bullshit. I've been scared of NBA, and I've only had 1 losing season publicly in front of everybody over 5 years. 1. Every other year, I've won comfortably. My first 2 years, double-digit units up. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a healthy fear. Now, I was at a poker night last night. Just a 1-2 game $200 buy-in. Scared money doesn't make money on the poker table. You can't sit at the poker table and be scared. You have to go with at least the max buy-in and another buy-in, and you got to go in there with strength and confidence. But I don't think there's anything wrong being a little bit afraid, or maybe a lot afraid, of the difficulties of succeeding in a long MLB season.
Yes. I mean, ultimately, when you get right down to it, all money is scared money. And if it's not scared money, you're just lying to yourself. No, I just made that up, Jimmy. I hear you. Listen, MLB is particularly scary, and I'll give you. I mean, I could talk about MLB handicapping, for hours. I'll give you my 8-second thoughts that came to me while you were saying all that. MLB is in general very analytics based, of course, because there's a lot of, it's a lot more easy. It's a lot easier to quantify than other sports because it's primarily an individual sport. And of course, as we all know, those analytics have advanced rapidly, even in the past 5 years, and it seems like they're advancing rapidly month by month. People are like, this shortstop runs, 3 miles an hour faster to the left than to the right in this stadium and this and that, and the exit velocities and all that stuff. And all that stuff matters. At the same time, you don't want to put too fine a point on it because all that stuff is mostly being factored into the market. So, MLB is something that you want to the same tools as in any other market, really, I guess, which is, be aware of what the smart people are doing, be aware of what the people who think they're smart but aren't really smart are doing, be aware of what the stupid people are doing, being aware of what the mid-range intelligence people are doing, and just do your best, have fun, hope for the best, and understand that it's all recreational in the end. Even for professionals, it's recreational. And but MLB is very tough because of the analytics. But at the same time, you can be aware of it. You can learn about the analytics and become more aware of what is informing the markets and what's informing the player projections, I
do. My fucking girlfriend's fucking phone is going off, some sort of fucking alarm clock fucking chime, and I'm going to lose my shit here. So you can tell I'm a little uncomfortable with the amount.
One other thing I would say is that if you get too in depth into the analytics, you can always find analytics in baseball that will make a strong argument for either side. You know what I mean? So it's you have to have a very bird's eye view about the whole thing and understand like the difference between -120 and -135. What I'm trying to say here is MLB is tough. It's fun. Proceed with caution, but proceed with positivity and enjoyment. Is what I'm trying to say here.
I hear you. We have 31 games to cap on this show today. 14 NHL games, 15 MLB games, 2 NBA games.
Can I say one quick thing? And then I've done so much preparing. I didn't even have time to tweet out the link or bring up the comment section or anything. So can you handle the show for about 45 seconds while I go do that stuff?
Sure, but then come back because I got
45 seconds. I'm going to be here on camera. I'm just going to be doing other things, not listening to you. All right, great. Thanks so much, Jimmy the Bag.
No worries. I would throw my girlfriend's phone out the window, but I might hit my daughter while she's playing at recess outside at the Queen Victoria School, which we are changing the name of. We're changing the name of all these fucking schools named after Queen Victoria and all that shit. And I think it's good. Shout out to all the cappers joining us. Look, I'm tense. I'm fucking tense. 31 games we have to break down today. There's a lot on the line. The stakes are high. De-La, baby. The stakes are high. Brian Watson in the house. We got Albert Ross. Been too long since I've seen Albert Ross. Great to see you, Albert. My guy, Sammy Comer, ready to get to work. Bubba Rito says it's baseball time, fellas. We got Jose Contreras in the house. And Bubba Rito giving a shout out to Spidey play of the day. Man, we haven't seen enough of the Spidey play of the day here on the show lately. And we didn't get to hang out with them in San Antonio. I miss him and love him very much. Troy Cole in the house. Corporate Sports 609. There's Nut Flush Allen. I very much enjoyed watching the Giants lose last night. Very, very much enjoyed. We moved on it live at plus 170. Padres plus 170 down 1-0. And I enjoyed it immensely. Well, I picked up $400 profit at the poker game last night. That includes a hefty tip out because I tip out the dealers, Buzz Nuts, Paco Healy in the house. We got serious business ready to go. There's Birdie. Great to see Birdie back in action. Puzzler ready to get to work. Ron Crawford, star of the spreadsheet play today. We got Jenkins, and Ron Crawford is in. He's on the Capitals who are running hot. We have so much work to do on this card, and I spent so much time capping the NHL card, and I was like, God, I just got to move on past this, but it's I've been struggling very much in the NHL, and it bothers me enormously. We do have some real nice futures rolling, so it makes me feel good, but very, very, very uncomfortable. And just hearing that fucking chime on my girlfriend's phone makes me want to just lose my shit. I'm going to say a couple more what-ups, and then I'm going to fucking smash that phone.
I'm back, by the way, Jim.
Good to have you back. Ron Crawford's in. We have AODCT base. Dennis Garcia says Jimmy's much more sober now than he was on the weekend. That much I know. Yes, I can promise you that. Well, not this past weekend. I was very sober this past weekend. I've been very sober over the last few days, and it's probably the best for me. Eric Jones in the house. We got Slats. He says Preds in regulation. Says they've killed me all year, but they have to hit this. Do you see Couture screaming at Carlson on the bench for the Sharks? I did not see that. I did not see Logan do that. But God, I would lose my mind. I would lose my mind on Erik Karlsson's soft play and what a waste of the talent and skill that he has. I thought he was going to be a premier defenseman in the NHL for a long time. There's Clint Star, the Die Hard MMA podcast. What a beautiful UFC 273 you had. Absolutely great job. Turnsy ready to go. There's LJ from H-Town. You're going to see more of LJ from H-Town here on the show where we're going to do a little screen test with LJ from H-Town on Wednesday, and I'm very excited to have him. He is part of our family, but I'm looking forward to have him on camera as part of our family. CT Bays, Tigers, first 5, Pirates, money line. Tigers, first 5, Pirates, money line. Can you give a few more shouts out? Oh, it's over.
What happened?
Oh, God, it's over. That's a good sign. That's a really good sign for our day-to-day. Let me just get CT Bays, and those of you who cap with us for years know what a capper CT Bays is. Absolutely spectacular capper and a selfless capper, which so many of us are. And sharing all your action for the greater good of us as a group. Real Deal Prime in the house. Dan Kelly, Matty Ice. There's Ski Prophet says, yep, learned so much about baseball from Pete. Jay Peasy.
Shout out to Ski Prophet.
Yeah, what a great guy. We got Billy Friedrich, Matty Ice. The taint is hot. Spenny Penny Bombs. Nasty Nate says there were shootings in the Brooklyn subway. Stay in the house.
Oh, I'll be fine. No one's fucking with me around here. They know. Loshak, I get respect from all levels of society. And actually, I will say one thing about baseball analytics, Jimmy the Bag. It's actually extremely interesting. And I would say from a betting perspective, it's so easy to learn about analytics and be like, where's the edge? Where's the edge? Where's the edge? Just learn about MLB analytics and read about it and be like, wow, this is really interesting. This is really interesting. And then you'll find that, over time, over the minutes, over the hours, an edge or two may come into your mind and be like, I might bet that. But MLB analytics, aside from the betting angle, are incredibly interesting, Jimmy the Bag. There's so many of them. I mean, it's unbelievable, Well,
with a 15-game card, I look very much forward to NBA and NHL being over. Not as a sports fan. I love this time of year, but just so we can focus all our time on MLB because these games take a long time to study properly. Big shout out to Kyle Hintlian. $5 dono says, love you guys. Go Red Sox. Kyle, thank you so much for the dono, my man. Thank you for your support here. It truly, truly means so much to us. Dan Kelly says, what did Queen Victoria ever do to you? Look, I'm not worried about what anybody's ever done to me. We are a little concerned about what we have done to the Aboriginals. And so change the name of all the fucking schools and take all the statues down. Ryan Kozlowski in the house. Astute Chaos. We got Christopher Carter, Mark Schillingberg, Danzo, Lil E in the house. Nice to see Lil E back in action. There's Kenny Rogers. One, by the way, Dabby Cab and Kenny Rogers one have a great show out right now that they're doing nightly. Check out Dabby Cab and Kenny Rogers one's show right now. North Ender, we got to get to work. Dav Fenn, Bruce Shad, what a great group. Arthur Mead Jr., Ray Charles. It is now time for us to get to work. And there's Fat Wally in the house. And Big Ragu as well. Big Ragu making his MLB debut here on the show tomorrow night. But I would like to say something to Fat Wally right now. His spirit and his ability to deal with the adversity that he's had to handle with his health over the last little while has been incredibly inspiring. And no matter what happens to his health, he's here supporting us and saying all this nice things and supportive things to us and thinking about others. And we just love you so much, Wally, and we care about you so much. And you're such a big part of the family. And we're just so thankful to have you as a friend, and we love you, and we know that we're going to have a long time to be friends and to cap together. We know we have a long, rich future ahead of us. So I'm certain of that. Pistol Pete Loshak.
I agree. Can I say one quick thing?
Please do.
Yeah, shout out to Fat Wally. I agree with all that, and also shout out to Big Ragu. That guy is a real deal handicapper. When we were looking at college basketball, I like Texas Tech over Duke, and Big Ragu was like, Duke ain't losing, and I was like, yeah, of course, he's right, and took me off of Texas Tech a little bit. Shout out to Big Ragu, very impressive handicapper. All right.
Extremely impressive handicapper. Let's get to work. So NHL, MLB, NBA, Trot Wam will be joining us for the playing games for NBA. And look, I know not all of you care about NHL, and I've been struggling in NHL this season, which has made it even worse for people who don't love the sport to care about it if I'm not putting money in people's pockets. But we have a big 14-game card and a lot's on the line right now. We will try to go through it as fast as possible and spend the biggest amount of time on the MLB card today. Let's get to work right now, Pete. Blues, Bruins, you want to set the table?
Yeah, Jimmy the Bag. I'm actually doing okay in NHL. Taking a lot of like bad teams as a plus 400 dog on the team total overs and stuff like that. And of course, you know what Nut Flush Allen has been doing with team totals. And I, even before Nut Flush Allen started doing what he was doing, I was like, you know, team totals is the way I want to go when it comes to NHL. Yeah, St. Louis and Boston, both of these teams are good. And of course, at this point in the season, two things, Jimmy the Bag. I know you know this, but with our viewers, of course. First of all, obviously, playoff considerations is paramount. Also, there's a lot of like young phenoms, like number 1 picks, number 3 picks, who are coming up now and making their debuts with a bunch of teams. That's not applicable for this game, but in other games it is. We'll talk about that later. This is a tough one. St. Louis is off of 4 straight awesome wins at home. Really rolling. And then Boston, a team that some of our most elite NHL handicappers thought might be a little bit overvalued. That hasn't really come to pass. So, Boston's back home after a 4-game trip that they split, but they're generally very, very good at home. This one, I guess, obviously 2 great teams is the point here. And normally, my first thought would be St. Louis on the team total over, but Boston is great defensively at home. And St. Louis might be maybe in a little bit of down spot here because they had a very strong homestand. They had like a high energy home win. And then a game after that where they were like, let's guard against an energy letdown. They got another big win. So now they're going up on the road against another elite team. Maybe this is not a great spot for St. Louis. So it's going to be a pass for me. My first instinct would be St. Louis team total over, but because of the energy spot and how good Boston is at home, coming off of a 50-50 road trip, it's going to be a pass for me.
It's St. Louis or no bet.
Mm-hmm.
I can completely understand not wanting to back them. 5 straight wins and such a nice home stretch there, and they've turned it around. I don't want anything to do with the Bruins when they can't score on the power play. They're 0 for 16 on that 4-game road trip where they went 2-2, the Bruins. 0 for 16. And why is that? It's because Pasternak is a sniper. And Marchand is just, I guess they need that snipe job from Pasternak to get this power play going. Then you have Grzelcyk, upper body injury, Hampus Lindholm, lower body injury, 2 very important defensemen here. Obviously, you got McAvoy, who is the heart and soul of that. Of course, the Canucks picked Ole Juolevi, 6 picks ahead of Charlie McAvoy because Benning. God, I just think of the most horrifying things I want to say, and I don't want to I just fucking despise that man's hockey intelligence. But the Blues are just 13-12-4 against the Eastern Conference, right? They've been making all their hay against Pacific Division teams this year. And you have the Bruins coming in off their second loss in 3 games. Howle's playing well. He scored 5 goals in his last 8 games. It's Blues or no bet. So then you have to look at the standings. The Blues right now are tied with the Wild. The Wild have a game in hand. It's a very important stretch for the Blues because you want home ice advantage if you're going to play the Minnesota Wild. Turnsey says over is the play. The only issue I have with that is that, Hampus Lindholm and Grzelcyk are out. And what's that caused the Bruins is that they're not scoring a ton. And this is a 6. In fact, though, Turnsey, that was my first thought at the game until I started studying it further. And then if we're looking at it and we have the Blues as a plus 125 dog, maybe that team total is the best way to go with the Blues. And let's just see what it is at the 2.5 right now. If I wanted to bet it, it's a very, very expensive minus 165 at bet 365. So yeah, this is a Blues or no bet. Is it a Blues bet? Eric Jones says 4-3 Blues. I think there's a legitimate issue here with the Bruins without their Pasternak sniper and without these 2 very important defensemen. So Trinity says Bruins wins today, but I won't. I think I won't play that number. One other for sure is Marchand anytime goal. I've been dialed in the NHL lately. And we have got NHL plays of the day from Turnsey. I'm going to copy and paste that. Maple Leafs, Sabres over first period, or 2.5 at plus 155. Well, Islanders money line and Rangers money line. I'm going to copy and paste those picks, but it's just Blues or no bet. And I don't know if the risk reward is proper to fade the Bruins at home. They're 22-11-2 at home. I don't think we do it. I think we got to stay off of it.
Okay. Yeah, people making, Eric Jones likes Blues 4-3. I would be leaning, I guess, Blues team total over, but it'll be a pass for me.
It'll be a pass. At this point, I'm going to keep Blues or no play here for my notes today. I've made no bets on today's card, and I feel real refreshed off of the weekend and the sobriety. Let's move on to Sabres Leafs.
Okay, yeah, Buffalo had been playing better than market valuations, as they have been at times this year, but then they got blasted 5-0 at Tampa Bay. Fine, that's one down game for them. Toronto, huge explosive run. Then they came down a little bit, back down to earth, but that was after a run where they were scoring 6 and 7 goals a game. They're still, 7-1 in their last 8, and their only loss was OT at Florida. And here we have one of the situations that I alluded to earlier. Owen Power, number 1 overall pick in the NHL draft, right? Number 1 overall. He's scheduled to make his debut here. So the question is, does that mean Buffalo is going to, get up for this one and have a great game with his first game in the NHL, or the other player is going to be a little bit jealous because he's the number 1 draft pick and they weren't, and he's going to be one of the great players and they're not. So maybe there'll be a little bit of chemistry issues for Buffalo. I'm not sure. I did take of course, Buffalo, a massive underdog here, and Toronto's clinched the playoff spot, and also maybe coming down to earth a little bit. I took a shot with, I took a small shot with the Buffalo team total over and Buffalo plus 2.5 at -115. Very small shot. So Calgary has actually been playing well for Toronto in goal at home. So it's an interesting spot. The debut of Owen Power. What do you think, Jim?
So excited to see Owen Power. I was thinking this morning, when's the last time there's been 2 number 1 overall picks on the same defense with Rasmus Dahlin and Owen Power? I don't know when it's been. Owen Power, 6'6", 215-pound, 19-year-old. I can't wait to watch him. Can't wait to see 2 number 1 overall picks. The Sabres are a team on the rise. I mean, look at the number 1 overall picks, or even number 2 overall picks. But look at like Hedman and Ekblad, and this team has 2 of them. And the Sabres, with these 2 defensemen, there's no reason why in 3 years they're not holding Lord Stanley's mug over their head. That's what number 1 overall. Now, it's very difficult to be number 1 overall defenseman. We saw Hedman do it earlier because his grew into a man's body quicker. This is a 6'6", 215-pound, 19-year-old. Now he's got to be bigger to clear the front of the net, but good God. I mean, if you're a Buffalo Sabres fan, like Real Deal Prime, you're going to have so much fun over the next 5 years with these 2 number 1 overall studs that are 6'5" and 6'6" on your blue line. What a fucking look, Chris Pronger. I mean, God damn. I mean, this is just unbelievable. So I had a poker game last night and they're all talking hockey. They all like Shalgren and they think that Shalgren's just been lit up that one game and they think that he's fine. I think he's susceptible. I love that team total over, and I like taking the Sabres, at a +2 or whatever it is that you would find. And the 2.5 at -115 seems to make a ton of sense to me. Craig Anderson, 14-11 and 2, 3.13 goals against average, 8.99 Sabres percentage. I don't really trust him. And the Sabres are coming off their 3rd straight loss, 5-0 at Tampa on Sunday. I do like the opportunity for them to bounce back, and they always play the Leafs tough. They beat them 2 of 3 games this year. And the Leafs coming off their 2nd straight win, 3-2 at home over the Habs on Saturday night. Austin Matthews, the best player in the NHL, better than Connor McDavid, 58 goals. No one scored 60 goals in the NHL since Stamkos back in 2011, 2012. Andre Cachet is out Tuesday, and this is the nightmare for the Leafs in the playoffs. Is Jake Muzzin has a concussion again. So I don't know if he has it again. They're being so quiet about it, but he's not going to play tonight. And Muzzin, you need Muzzin and Giordano back there. You need somebody playing defensive hockey back there for the Leafs defense. And Muzzin being out again today hurts. Steph Brosco, I did nothing except play poker yesterday, and I picked up $400 profit. That was all I did yesterday. Well, more than that, but I tipped out healthy, slapped ass on my way out. Look, I love your looks here. I think they all make sense. I think Sabres team total over and Sabres plus 2.5. The market doesn't seem to be moving right now, Pete. We have Sabres opening up at plus 350. I mean, BetMGM. You know what? Actually, I take that back. DraftKings has a very low number on the Sabres, but everyone else is like between plus 340 and 360. I think it all makes sense to me.
So you think it's not a that Buffalo should be able to come here. It's not a down spot. It's not going to be weird with Power starting.
I think it's going to be great with Power Star. I think it's going to be great. I think they're going to have excitement around this young defenseman, and I think that everything's changed. Granado's changed everything there, and this is a team on the rise, and it's a nice spot to take them after a 5-0 loss, I believe.
And very quickly, brisk pace. Would you rather, if you had a free bet, would you rather have Buffalo plus 2.5 at -115 or the Buffalo team total over 2.5 at +105?
I'd like to bet them both.
Right.
And if I had a free bet, I would take the team total over 2.5 at +105.
Yeah. All right. It's actually +110. All right. I'll make both of those official plays. These are Will Hill lines I'm quoting right now. Buffalo plus 2.5 -115, and the team total over 2.5 at +110. That's the current line at Will Hill. I bet both of those, and I will make both those official here. All right. Let's move on, Jim. How about that?
Sabres team total over 2.5 at +110. I like both those bets very much.
Okay. And also, I took a shot with the first period, but we won't get into.
In fact, that's what I said last night because we were talking about the Sabres, how tough they play the Leafs, and I was like, I think the first period is probably the best look, but hearing that plus 2.5, and it's good that we've talked this out. I want in.
And but Buffalo also has been. We got to keep a brisk pace. Buffalo's also been like when they play good teams well. It's the first period. They started out strong, right? Like recently against Florida and Carolina, they were up in the first period in both those games, right? Yes, I'm looking at it now.
Definitely. So I mean, let's just take a quick look at what I would be offered here now. And now that gambling's legal, sports gambling's legal in Ontario, single bet gambling. There's going to be a lot more options for us up here. So I'm going to definitely get a FanDuel on a couple different accounts for more options. But let's just take a look quickly at the first period here. The first period,
yeah, plus 239 at Pinnacle. What the hell? I'll triple up on this one. I'll take it. I can't not take that one. First period plus 239 at Pinnacle. Current line at Pinnacle. All right.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not going to triple up here unless I cut my unit size too much. Right. So I'm not going to, but I get it. I feel like that Sabres plus 2.5 is a little more appealing. But I
bet all those really small. All right, let's move on. How about that?
Yes, Sabres first period plus 239. It's 235 here at Bet 365. All right, let's roll.
Anaheim, Florida next, Jim?
Yep.
Yeah, this is a tough one, right? Anaheim basically shitty. Florida, of course, is Florida. Rolling 7 in a row, 10-1 last 11. Of course, it's the line you would expect, -450. High total, which is not a surprise. Florida can be explosive at any point offensively. I was thinking maybe a shot with like under 7 -140 if I had a free play on this one. But I'm not sure. Anaheim, obviously shitty. But, we've seen week in and week out in the NHL, in general, you want to be very, very careful betting against these plus 380 dogs in the NHL. What's your take on this one, Jim?
It's a tough one. I mean, Florida on this big winning streak. I mean, you
never quite know when a team like Florida at this point in the season is just going to have a letdown against a team they're way better than, at this point in the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this, I don't, I see this being a game that Anaheim will actually care about. They're running out of opportunities for Ryan Getzlaf here, who is about to retire. Getzlaf, man, 8 goals in his past 2 years. Yeah, it's time to go, buddy. But he's been incredible. Not the best Getzlaf athlete. Chris Getzlaf, wide receiver for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, holds the mantle in the Getzlaf family. Gibson, 17, 24, and 10, 3.17 goals against average, 904 save percentage. Bobrovsky, 34, 6, and 3, 2.72 goals against average, 911 save percentage, 3 shutouts. Anaheim, 22.1% power play, 80.9% penalty killing. Coming off their third loss in 4 games, 5-2 at the Canes on Sunday night. Troy Terry, 32 goals, 58 points. Zegras has really slowed down in the second half of the year. Well, not even as much as Terry. Both of them slowed down. Panthers coming off their 7th straight win. They're only the 6th NHL team in the past 25 years to score 300 goals in a season. Huberdeau, franchise record, 104 points, 77 assists is the NHL highs on an 11-game point streak. 9 different Panthers have scored at least 15 goals. And shout out to Carter Verhaeghe, 22 goals this year, all even strength. I mean, he's not getting power play time, and he's got 22 goals. Very, very impressive year, and great pickup off of the Lightning miss of Verhaeghe. Jimmy Gomez in the house. Great to see you, Jimmy, my guy. Brady says live bet this game. If the Panthers get down, smash them. Let's just take a quick look at the odds. I feel like this is sort of a similar spot. I guess it's not really. I want to say a similar spot to the Sabres. I guess not. We know the Sabres play the Leafs tough and care very much about the situation. Is Anaheim going to care about Florida? How many fans are going to be in the crowd? This total opened up at 6 at the pick'em. It's gone up to 6.5, and Ducks open up at plus 350. There's plus 365s out there. There's even a plus 330 out there. So it's all over the map here. I guess I just stay off. Satsi says, I hear you, Jimmy, but let's see what they do in the playoffs. I'm not saying I trust this team. If Muzzin isn't playing for the Leafs, Satsi, and then who's in net? Campbell, or Shalgren or fucking Mrazek. I mean, I don't trust them either. But it's Austin Matthews dangerous.
Pass for me, pass for you. Let's move on, huh?
Let's move on. Hurricanes, Rangers, take it away.
Oh, man. All right. This one, Carolina, an interesting team. Last 3 wins, all as a minus 300 favorite at home, but they seem to struggle in all other situations, especially against quality teams, which just seems to me, which just obviously is what it is. I've got Carolina circled in my head as maybe a team that's going to struggle in the playoffs, along with the Pittsburgh Penguins. We'll talk about all this later. Jimmy's back. We'll see if you agree. Rangers obviously winning, playing well, and I think it's a no-brainer play on maybe the Rangers team total over, and also thinking about just taking the Rangers as a home dog here. This is a big game, and apparently the Rangers are wanting to now that they've qualified for the play, now they've they got their playoff spot. They want to improve their positioning, supposedly, so they're gonna keep fighting despite the fact that they've clinched the playoff spot. Rangers team total over. Is that not a good or great bet here, Jimmy the Bag? Carolina struggles apparently against quality teams.
It's a very fishy line. Hurricanes opening up at plus 105 and quickly moved to minus 125, minus 135 at BetMGM. Is wild. The total opened up at 6 on the legal American books, now at 5.5, and it's just, I mean, how does that not stop you in your tracks? Because it is a surprise that the Rangers wouldn't be favored here, and if you've been beating NHL this year, like guys like Dennis Garcia, and he's confident on the Rangers. I completely get it. Birdie, Rangers money line and under, I get it. But something strange that they become such a big favorite here on the road. I mean, you look at this Rangers squad, 24-7-4 at home, and they're a dog here. It's
well, when I see something like that, my first thought is just someone's going to be out. Hasn't been announced yet, but everyone already knows it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge game that's on top of every NHL breakdown, and we have not heard anything of the sort. And this game means so much to both teams, and so there's no indication at this point. But if this was basketball, I would say that with certainty. With NHL, I don't know. I don't really know. Carolina comes in off their second win in 3 games, 5-2 at home over the Ducks on Sunday night. Jordan Staal, first hat trick in a decade. He's got 11 goals over his last 29 games, and he's the perfect playoff type player. They have 32 or more shots in 5 of their last 6 games, and the Rangers have outscored their opponents 11-2 on a 3-game winning streak. They're 7-1-1 in their last 9 games, and they're not favored here. Dad Fan says, how many tickets at MSG tonight? Let's do that. I know we haven't been doing that for NHL, but let's pull that up right now. We have 3,190 tickets. Sports Insight says that there's value. The 4th most value in the NHL tonight is on the Carolina Hurricanes, which is crazy. Then you have 67% of the tickets and 76% of the cash on the Rangers. Yeah, it's moving towards the Hurricanes. And 64% of the tickets and 61% of cash on the under, and it's moved to 5.5. Paul Thompson, I believe it starts April 19th. Woodbine said, I believe it's April 19th. Woodbine said. So I believe it's. Oh no, it couldn't be April 19th. That would be a Tuesday. It's got to be. Dennis will know exactly when it starts. I'm uncomfortable with the market here, and.
Well, here's the answer. Maybe this is it from Cashman 19. He says Rangers play tomorrow. Maybe Georgiev, reason for Hurricanes favorite. I mean, I'm seeing Shesterkin as unconfirmed, and maybe just everyone behind the scenes knows that it's going to be Georgiev, in which case the line movement makes perfect sense.
You're right. And maybe it's a ploy, a strategy ploy, not to show them Shesty here, which.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, look, again, this is a classic team total situation. It may, in the end, prove to be a bad bet to play on the Rangers here, but I'll take the team total over. I'll trust my capping on this one, and if it loses, it loses. I'm seeing minus 118 at Pinnacle. Also, by the way, Billy Friedrich, give me the bag, found Buffalo first period plus 240 at Bookmaker, so we'll take that one. Buffalo first period plus 240, and I'll throw on Rangers team total over 2.5 minus 118 current line at Pinnacle as an official play. If it loses, okay.
All right, you are in. Rangers team total over 2.5 at minus 118. All right, let's roll on. And Clint says lockdown playoff hockey here. First period under, no goal maybe. This whole thing is throwing me for a loop. Let's move on, and let's start this breakdown of the Philadelphia Flyers or Washington Capitals with our man Ron Crawford. Ron Crawford on Washington minus 1 is the spreadsheet play of the day. Let's roll. Take it away. Set the table. Flyers Caps.
I understand it. Here we go again. Another young guy, right? Bobby Brink. That's a cool as hell name, Jay. I wish my name was Bobby Brink. Second round pick and, highly touted guy, right? Just led the University of Denver. I read about this with his first national title in 5 years. Led the NCAA in points and assists. Just a stud. Guy's name is Bobby Brink. Man, I wish I was Bobby Brink right now. He's making his debut for Philly. Washington, 3 straight nice wins against good teams as a small dog. That's very impressive. They're playing very well. And Philly, basically a crappy team, but here and there, every few games, they have a better than expected performance where they score more goals than expected. Their team total was good, and they get a win as a dog. They beat Columbus recently. They beat the Rangers in OT as a plus 275 dog. I understand why Ron Crawford would like Washington so much here, but I don't know. At this huge of a line, I was thinking Philly or Philly team total over. What do you think, Jim?
I'm looking forward to watch Bobby Brink as well. 5'8", 159 pounds. This is not, and he did not look that good. He had a poor year last year. Now, yes, he stepped up enormously this year, but 5'8", 159 pounds going up against men.
Okay, well, we don't body shame people on this show, Jimmy the Bag.
Carter Hart, 13, 23, and 7, 3.11 goals against average, 906 save percentage, 1 shutout. Ilya Samsonov, 21, 9, and 4, 2.95 goals against average, 899 save percentage, 3 shutouts. That was another thing. I also played poker sober last night as I'm trying to dry out after that fucking couple weeks in San Antonio, and not enjoyable as that was my first genuine laugh in 5 days, I think. Flyers coming off.
That's the main reason I do this show, and also make people in the comment section. Go ahead, Jim.
The Flyers come in off their second loss in 3 games, 5-3 at home versus Ducks on Saturday night, 1 for 28 on the power play over their last 10 games. So maybe Bobby Brink can help there. I blame Keith Yandle for all of it. If I went to Flyers games, all I would do is blame Keith Yandle. I would blame Keith Yandle for everything. Capitals coming off their 3rd straight win, 4-2 at home over the Bruins on Sunday. Tommy Wilson, career-high 23rd goal. He's just incredibly important to any team that has hopes of being a scary team to play against in the playoffs. And look who the Caps have beaten. Lightning, Penguins, Bruins. All of a sudden, they're 4 points behind the Penguins for 3rd place in the Met. So, I think a couple things here. I think that one, because now the Flyers step up in divisional games, and the only way really to bet the Caps here would be to bet them, at least on the -1 line, but you can't even do that because that'll be about minus 180. You'd have to bet them on the puck line, and the Flyers play well against divisional opponents, but there's a lot on the line for the Caps here, and it'd be Caps or no bet because they see the Pens scuffling and they know how important it is to get to that 3rd spot. Is it that important? I mean, maybe I take that back a bit. If they get in that, it's either they play the Rangers or Carolina if they get third. Rangers or Carolina, or they pay the Panthers. So I guess I would rather play the Rangers or the Hurricanes. So maybe the third spot is crucial. I don't really know how to bet this other than I can understand why the over is being attacked. It's now at 6.5. It opened at a 6. If you would have got it at 6, a probably a good bet. I don't. The Flyers just play divisional rivals tough on the road and as a dog. And if they were playing, if they were playing outside their division, I would like to fade them. But I don't know if I want to do that here.
And Vanacek has not been that great. All right, I'll make this official. I'm seeing Flyers team total over 2.5 at +110. Current line at Heritage. I'll make that one an official play, and hopefully, the Caps win in OT and the Flyers get 3 in. The Caps win in regulation and the Flyers, get 3. But I considering the situation, Washington coming off of 3 big wins as a dog, I'll take the Flyers team total over 2.5 +110.
I like it. I got it. I shouldn't say I like it. I get it.
Right.
I get why you would move it on the plus line. Rodney Barton says Caps have failed to cover the puck line 5 straight as favorites. Philly will play it close tonight.
I mean, Philly's just so unpredictable. After losing to Anaheim at home, it just feels like they've done well on the road. You know what I mean? They beat St. Louis. I'm taking them. And I would also be leaning plus, Philly, whatever, plus maybe points or whatever. I'll just stick with the team total.
We must stop everything. A legend is back in action. Dommy Gun Ricci says, hey, Jimmy, hey, Pete, back and ready and rested. And you never need to apologize for taking a break. I want everybody to know that. We're always going to be here whenever you want to cap. And we're always going to have open arms. And there's, I may body shame Bobby Brink, but I will never, we're always just here and excited to cap with you. And when you need a break, take a break, and just know you're going to love Dommy Gun Ricci. And it's great to see you, Dommy.
Definitely.
I love you, my man.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Dommy Gun. Dommy Gun, if you watch my NL East preview, you might appreciate it. Jose Bouquet asked me what's wrong with the Mets. And I said, look, they're from Queens. Queens is where the losers live. Watch that video. You might like that one, Dommy Gun. Shout out to you, Dommy Gun.
Okay, let's keep rolling. We got to get to MLB. Dommy's ready for MLB. We're all ready for MLB. Let's go. 7:30 p.m. Ottawa, Detroit Red Wings. Set a table for us, buddy.
Okay, this one, I'm going to pass on this one. Maybe we should skip it in light of how tight we are for time. Both teams with good young players. Both teams playing with a little bit of spirit. Ottawa, of course, has been undervalued a lot during the year. They're off 3 straight losses here, but Detroit, they've got some rookies. Detroit has some young guys who are really playing well and have bright futures. If you gave me a free play on this one, I would take Detroit, but I don't want to bet against Ottawa. It's a pass for me. 2 teams with young guys playing with some spirit, playing out the string. Pass for me.
Yeah. Ottawa opening up at plus 120 now, 110 or 105. This total's gone from 6 to 6.5. You have Forsberg versus Nedeljkovic. Forsberg's been good this year. 17, 16, and 3, 2.80 goals against average, 917 save percentage. Turnsey is the Detroit Red Wing whisper. I'd be very interested to hear what Turnsey has to say about this spot. Detroit power play 17.2%, penalty killing 73.6%. So Ottawa has better special teams, both on the power play and shorthanded. Senators coming up their 3rd straight loss, 4-3 at home versus the Jets on Sunday. And Sogard made his first career home start. They seem to be high on the kid. Wings had their 2-game winning streak snapped in a 5-4 loss at home versus Columbus on Saturday night. They're 2-0-1 over their last 3. That follows a stretch where they went 3-12 and 3, and they're playing good hockey. They're playing good hockey right now. They're as healthy as they've been in some time, and they're probably going to keep playing good hockey. But do you want to move on the Red Wings as a favorite? It's not a bad line. I would really like to hear what Turnsey thinks, but I don't see why the Red Wings wouldn't continue to play good hockey. Real Deal Prime says Detroit 0-12 after an OT game the night before.
Yeah.
And
Tommy Gunn from Queens, right? Isn't he?
Dommy Gunn is just Long Island, right? He's just off of he's just a little bit away from Belmont and the new arena there.
Thought he was from. All right, well, yeah, he'd like the Queen's joke anyway. Yeah, I think this is just a pass for us, right, Jim?
I don't think so.
No?
I think Detroit is playing good hockey right now, and I don't know why they wouldn't continue to do that. Grice is in net. I guess if Grice is going to be confirmed, I would just need to study that a little bit more. But Turnsey says that I'm on wings if Grice is in net. I'm very interested in Detroit. They've been playing good hockey. They went on that terrible run. They're playing in Detroit, so Tyler Bertuzzi is going to be good to go. And I have great interest in Detroit. Let's move on to Pens Islanders.
Okay, Pens, Islanders, Pittsburgh also, Jimmy the Bag. Pittsburgh. They listen. I'm thinking about fading Pittsburgh in the playoffs. Right? Pittsburgh is obviously they can put up a 10 spot against a terrible team when they're motivated at any point. When they were playing Detroit after that horrible loss to the Rangers, I was all over them. Again, not -8, but -1, and I had their team total over. Then the revenge game against the Rangers, they lost again, and they just feel like a finesse team that scores a lot, but they don't really play gritty, and against quality, tough NHL teams, they're a little bit overvalued, and this might be that kind of a spot, kind of like an Isles team total over, kind of like an Isles as a dog. We know that the Islanders are out of the playoffs, but they're playing with a chip on their shoulder, trying to prove that they are not the shitty team that they were for most of the year, which was the result of the unfair way that the season unfolded for them. So I'm thinking I'm looking to fade Pittsburgh especially as a road favorite against any quality team that's motivated. It's got to be the Isles here. Isles is a dog and team total over. What do you think?
Well, are the Islanders going to bounce back? I mean, is this team going to show any heart this year? They haven't proven that that's something that they do. Are they going to do it here?
Yeah.
I don't know. They're a very difficult team to trust. Part of the problem with the Penguins is Tristan Jarry, 0-5 over his last 5, 894 save percentage. Is it time to give Casey DeSmith the opportunity to be the starting goaltender for this team? Because we've seen what Jarry does in the playoffs, and he shrinks. He shrinks in important spots. So, look, I've been saying all year that Pittsburgh has not enough depth. Did Rickard Rakell change the depth? He's got 8 points, I believe, 8 points in 11 games. But they've all come in 3 games. He's had 3 multi-point games, so that's strange. Penguins snapped their 4-game losing streak with 3-2 overtime win at home over Nashville on Sunday. Crosby, 2 goals and assists, now has 1,400 career points, 22nd in NHL history, and we are lucky that we get to watch this man play game in and game out. Evgeny Malkin cross-checked Borecki in the face. It was not Dino Ciccarelli with the triple chop, but it was pussy-ass, ugly play. It was he looked like a scared little kid out there with cross-checking Borecki, because Borecki could beat up Malkin. Islanders coming off their second loss in 3 games, 6-1 to the Blues on Saturday night. They have killed 21 straight power plays, but now we see this power plays at 21.2%. Remember, it was down to like 14.5%, 15% before Malkin came back, and now Malkin's gone. So you can expect the Penguins probably to struggle a bit offensively. And, Mark Schellenberg says Isles give the Pens a tough time, but I'm off. Probably Isles win, maybe sit anytime goal. There's big show picks in the house. I don't know. I guess I kind of don't want anything really to do with it, I guess.
All right, well, I'll make 2 official plays here, Jimmy the Bag. At Pinnacle, Isles, team total over 2.5 -117. And at Will Hill, I'll take Isles -1 +180. Isles -1 +180. I just think that Pittsburgh is maybe a little bit overvalued right now.
Yeah, I'm interested. I get money in the house. Says, hello, Jimmy, Pete, Bag Hockey. I watch the show mainly for the hockey. I really enjoy your unique perspectives and Ghoster too, so don't give up on it, please. Thank you. I get money. Thank you. And look at Turns. He says, I made Isles' best bet on the card. This Pittsburgh team really seems to handle missing players very well. And
sure,
I don't know. I find this very interesting. Turnsey believes in it immensely, what you're on. And we're not going to hum and haw because we got a huge baseball card to break down. But I will take a closer look at the Isles and after the show and maybe add them. Maybe.
Okay.
Interesting. So
I've made those 2 official. You got them, Jim?
Yes, you got the team total over 2.5 at -117 and the Isles -1 at +180.
Yes.
All right, let's roll.
Let's move on. Edmonton, Minnesota.
Yep.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. It's going to be a pass for me. I'll be surprised if there's something you like here, Jimmy the Bag, because Edmonton, of course, an impressive team, but now they're playing lower scoring games, right? They lost a tough low scoring game to Colorado in their last game. Before that, they had been rolling, and Minnesota had been great, right? Winning game in and game out and going under game in and game out. They're very dedicated to a defense-oriented game when they're playing at their best. Last 6 games, though, it's tailed off a little bit. They're just 3-3, and 4 of those games went over. So the defense has tailed off a little bit, but now at home with Edmonton coming in, they're going to want to play defensive again, and they're going to be focused on that. They'll probably be able to. So I guess I'd be leaning under here, but it's tough to lean under in a game where Edmonton's coming to town, and Minnesota's also been going over recently. So as of right now, it's a pass for me. But if you gave me a free play, I'd probably take the under and buy up to 7.
I wonder if the Oilers are going to let go of this chase of the Flames. The Kings. I can't wait to talk about the Kings game, and I think the Kings' struggles are very real now. I've been watching them a little closer and watching their defense, and now Doughty done for the year and Edler hurt, and we'll discuss that. Minnesota needs to continue winning it. They do not want to go into St. Louis to start the playoffs. God, I can't wait for the playoffs in NBA and NHL. It's going to be so
right.
fun.
And how do they beat the Oilers? They beat them by outscoring them? No. They beat them by clamping down on D. The under might be a sneaky good play here, Jim.
I don't dislike the under at all, but I don't find the Oilers a tough team to play against, and I do think you can outscore the Oilers because they're one line. The problem with the Wild is they've proven this year that Joel Eriksson-Ek Greenway line is not a defensive shutdown line. They've proven it because their penalty killings at 75.3%. I thought with Joel Eriksson-Ek at center that they would have great penalty killing and great shutdown, and they haven't proven that this year. That's the only reason why I wouldn't immediately bet the Wild, just because I can't trust them here. And look, they outshot Colorado 50-34. They just got hurt by a hot goaltender the way I see it. That was a 6-game winning streak snapped, a 9-game home winning streak snapped. Right now you have the Oilers opening up at plus 110, now plus 115 to plus 120. This is an Oilers team that's 19-13-5 on the road. So, nothing really. And then the Wild are 25-7-2 at home. Billy Friedrich says Talbot confirmed for the Wild. So the Oilers are 4 points up on third place LA Kings and 6 points up on the Vegas Golden Knights, who, of course, circumvented the cap, cheated, and now Mark Stone will come back, and congratulations. So we watched the Lightning do it last year, and you fucking cheaters. Hope you leave. Feel good about yourselves. Los Angeles was up 3-0 10 minutes in before Minnesota came out with 6 unanswered goals. Kaprizov 42 goals on the year, so that ties the franchise mark held by Marian Gaborik and Eric Stahl. He has 10 goals in his last 10 games. Wild have a 9-game point streak on home ice. They have the most wins and points through 71 games in franchise history. Why don't the Wild take care of business here at home? Why don't we have an advantage here with a team that's 25-7-2 at home against an Oilers team that should probably let go of this chase for the Flames? I mean,
yeah, I mean, the more you talk about it, the more I think that the Wild probably is a good play. I think I'm going to add on. When the Wild played the Pens, I bought up to 7 and got a push on that one. I'm going to take a shot with under 7 minus 146 current line at Pinnacle. I understand how risky that is, but the Oilers are playing lower scoring games right now.
That it's Koskinen is in Rodney Barton. Do we have confirmation that that's Koskinen?
Let me see.
Because I thought they'd keep rolling with Mike Smith and keep him hot. If it's Koskinen in net, I mean, Mike Smith is starting to play well. If it's Koskinen in net, do you trust the? I'm going to move on the Minnesota Wild here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to move on the Wild here, and there's DJ Big Boss now. So as soon as we can get that confirmed, I would like to move on it. Turnsy says, quick question off topic. My book is Matthews to reach 70 goals at plus 800. He needs 12. Would you take a poke at it? Yeah, I don't know. I need to think about that for a little longer.
You think Koskinen is Koskinen played last game? He held to Colorado. I know it was at home, but he held Colorado down, right?
Yeah, let me just quickly take a look at Koskinen's last few games. There's Resmob in the house. Resmob, thank you so much. $9.99 Dono. Resmob, fresh off that, he was at 14 straight winners. What a guy he is. Let me just take a look at this very quickly at what Koskinen.
Well, I'll make that official. Edmonton, Minnesota, under 7 minus 146. I understand why that's a risky thing to do, taking a big, a decent favorite line there with Edmonton involved. But I think this is going to be a tight, lower scoring game. I'd also be leaning first period under as well at 2.
So Koskinen's last 2 road games, he allowed 9 goals combined. So 5 goals at Calgary, 4 goals at Dallas. So let's just go over his last. So 5 goals, 4 goals. And then before that, 3 goals at Calgary and 4 goals at Chicago. So look at his home games. He allows one goal, 3 goals, 1 goal, 3 goals.
Yeah, you're right. That is a little bit iffy.
Yeah, I don't trust him. I really don't trust Koskinen, and I do think that if they succeed, and Mikko has been confirmed, I do think that it quite likely would be Mike Smith. I bet you we see both of them in the playoffs. I don't know. I don't, especially off of what we just saw, the Oilers in a very low-scoring game at home when they were trying to continue these winning streaks. I don't know, but I'll pop it in for you. You want me to lock it in for you here?
All right. Yeah, you're right. I'll hold off for now. Although Minnesota does, but yeah, lock it in. Under 7 minus 146, and then let's move on.
Okay, Pete is on under 7 at minus 146, and I am going to move on the Minnesota Wild here at home to take care of business. I think this is a great price. And Ron Crawford says Minnesota home over has been tailing off, so that's good for where you stand. All right, let's roll on, and here we go. We have San Jose, Nashville, and let's before you set the table, let our Slatsy set the table. He says, "Good morning, Preds in regulation. They have killed me all year, but they have to hit this." Take it away, Pete. Let's set the table.
Yeah, I mean, I'll set the table by saying I don't have much more to say than that. I was looking at this and thinking this is just an obvious Nashville spot. Nashville lost 2 in a row, but of course, with admittedly good teams, they're definitely capable of beating beatable teams. At San Jose, 6 straight losses. I guess San Jose is a little bit more rested. I guess you could say, like, well, maybe San Jose is going to come in here pissed off or something. But, the Preds have dominated them twice already. They need a win. Why would we not take Nashville and the Nashville team total over?
Yeah, why would we not? I think you're right.
Seems very no-brainer-ish.
We got Rod Zawacki in the house. Great to see you, Rod. It's been too long since Wild have outscored the Oilers 11-4 in 2 games this year. Let's talk about this a little more. First off, UC Saros is excellent. He's been very impressive this year. Now top 10 goalie in the NHL for sure. Nashville power play 24.3%, penalty killing 80.2%. Sharks coming off their 6th straight loss, 4-2 at Vancouver on Saturday night. They've been outscored 24-13 over that losing streak. Good thing that Doug Wilson is left. I mean, he hasn't been there. He had some medical issue and left in November, but I blame him for all of the Sharks' deficiencies. This total opened up at 6. It's dropped to 5.5. Minus 200, so you'd have to take them on the puck line. I'm not against that. So the Predators sit first in the wildcard spot in Western Conference, 1 point ahead of the Stars, and 3 up on the Vegas Golden Knights. And this is the beginning of a 5-game homestand, and the whole season's on the line. 8-6-1 over the past 15 games. They haven't been great. But this is the only thing, I'll send this over to you and hear what you have to say about this. So they've outscored the Sharks 11-1 this year. They beat them 8-0 on March 5th. Is that, bulletin board material? Do you think that's...
Of course.
So
of course.
Because that's the reason why I was like, I think I should talk it out. Does that make you uncomfortable, because they've destroyed the Sharks so far this year?
Absolutely, which is why I was maybe thinking about team total over instead, 3.5. Yeah, definitely. Of course, that's an issue.
And I don't like the first game of a homestand. It's not a spot, even in a very important homestand. So no, I'm not going to take Nashville on the puck line, but I would completely understand why anybody would. Do you want the team total?
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it because at a certain point, I think their offense will get going. And they do seem to be able to put up goals when they need it. And it's a plus line. So I'll take plus 105. Nashville, team total over 3.5. Plus 105. We'll make that official. I'm feeling more and more nervous, Jimmy the Bag, about the under in Edmonton, Minnesota that I took, but it's already official, so I'll do it. 3.5 plus 105. Current line at Heritage for Nashville. I'll take that.
All right, it is almost time for MLB. We're almost through this card, so 4 games left. Let's get through them quickly. 8:30 p.m. Kings, Blackhawks. Take it away.
Yeah, the Blackhawks, again, like San Jose at the end of the year, just a crappy team that's losing game in and game out. Similar situation, actually. LA, 3 straight losses against good teams. Before that, played a bunch of good games on the road. LA needs wins for the playoff hunt. This is actually identical to the Predators game, except the difference is Chicago's at home. Is Chicago going to be a dangerous home dog here? I'm not sure. I'm holding off. I was actually thinking maybe over or Chicago team total over. Maybe LA wins, but it's a higher scoring game. This feels very, very trappy. I was thinking Chicago team total over maybe.
I think the Kings made a tremendous mistake not adding to their defense and at the trade deadline, because this is a really good forward group. With forwards that are capable. I mean, we already heard Slatsy talk about Philip Deneau shutting down Austin Matthews last year in the playoffs. You have Philip Deneau and Anze Kopitar as your 1-2 centerman punch. I mean, that's a very, very tough group to go up against. You have Kempe playing out of his mind, scoring goals. You have Iafallo on that first line. And then you have all this so you have this great forward group, and then you look at this defense and you're like, how are they going to do it? You have Bjornfot and Dursey as your top 2 defensemen. Bjornfot, I believe his first round pick in 2019. Dursey was a Leafs draft pick in the 2018 draft, and he's a very offensive defenseman. He has 26 points in 56 games, but this guy's 23 years old. He's a minus 13 though. And then who's going to? Where's your shutdown man? Mata and Spence. Troy Stetcher and Roy, this is a real problem, and that's why they've lost 3 straight, and that's why the Wild were able to put 6 goals against them. Doughty's now done for the year with wrist surgery, and Edler's hurt, and Real Deal Pram says, how can the Kings not win here? It's the back end.
They're on the road, and the pressure's on,
and it's the back end. So. Deacon says he's going to be on the 4th line for the Chicago Blackhawks tonight. So the Kings coming off their third straight loss. They're 4 points behind the Oilers, 2 ahead of Vegas, and they're not going to make the playoffs. I don't think. I think it's all. They have a 76.6% penalty killing. Now, look, we've seen the Wild succeed with their poor penalty killing, but the Blackhawks coming off their 7th straight loss, 6-4 setback to the Stars. It's Lankinen's trash. Delia might be better. So, I don't want the Kings under any circumstances. Let's just see what the market has done. Because if you just looked at the teams and thought about the season, you'd be like, oh, the Kings, this is must-win Kings spot here. They're minus 145. There's been no movement. There's been no movement at all since the line came out. And this total opened up at 5.5, and there are some 6s out there.
Yeah, I kind of like the over. I'll start off. I'll make Chicago team total over 2.5 minus 120 official. Chicago team total over 2.5 minus 120 official. I know they've had trouble scoring recently, but it just I don't know. I think this is going to be a tough game. They might score early. They might score late. I'll take Chicago team total over 2.5 minus 120 at home.
You are in. I don't want anything to do with the Blackhawks, and I really don't want anything to do with the Kings. Let's move on to Kraken Flames.
Okay, Kraken Flames, this one, I don't know. Although, once again, 2nd overall pick in the 2021 draft, Matty Beniers. I'm assuming that's the way you pronounce it.
It's Beniers.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's Beniers.
Every fucking time I get it wrong. It's like I'm snake bit. There's like a team where every time you bet on them, you lose. Every time I try to pronounce a fucking Canadian NHL player's name, I fucking get it wrong. Okay, Matty Beniers, 2nd overall pick in the 2021 draft for Seattle. He's making his debut here. I don't know how tall, in fact, this guy is or skinny or whatever, but he's looked great so far in his NCAA career. This is the 2nd of a home and home. This Calgary obviously is awesome. They're a huge favorite. They won the last game, but Seattle very beatable. But last 12 games are 500. Another situation like the Buffalo game. I was thinking maybe Seattle. I actually This might be stupid, but I'll admit it because we're being honest here. I actually did on the overnight line take Seattle team total over 1.5 at -160. I'll admit that I did that. It's an interesting game. And again, the NHL debut of Matty Beniers.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch this kid too. Sophomore season, University of Michigan. What a team. With all the skill on University of Michigan, how do they not win? I don't know how but he was the youngest player on the U.S. team at the 2022 Olympics and looked good there. 20 goals, 43 points, 37 games this year. Got a goal and assist in 4 games at the Olympics. And the Kraken have scored 10 goals in their last 6 games. So Calgary comes off their 4 straight win. 4-1 at Seattle on Saturday night, and now they go home. And the more that I think about it, why not think that the Kraken will come in motivated, excited? Grubauer has been better. I expect Grubauer to be in. Let me know if it is Drieger. But I have some interest in the Kraken first period.
Yeah.
At +0.5 at -115. That's available right now at Pinnacle. Available right now at Bet365. I have some interest in that. I think that I might move on that. So I think that Calgary coming home, having to deal with all that shit, that was an incredible road trip. Sweeping California, going up to Seattle and winning. And maybe they just come out a little poor here. So, I think I'm going to move on that. I might spend a tiny bit more time on it, but I believe that they'll come out fired up.
Yeah, and I think that I'm going to take it with the debut of Matty Beniers. I'll take team total over 1.5 -162 at Pinnacle. What the hell? Let's have some fun here. Seattle team total over 1.5 -162, and I'm leaning very strongly towards Seattle in the first period as well, which would be right now +236 at Pinnacle.
There's Dabby Cabs. You got the Kenny and Cab handle here, and that's the new show that they got rocking, and it's a great show. They're 2 really, really original, fun cappers, so check it out. Okay, let's roll on. Pete's on the Kraken team total over 1.5, and I believe I'll be on that first +0.5 at -115. Let's roll on to Lightning Stars.
All right, Lightning Stars. Both teams maybe a little bit questionable right now. Dallas, just not a very inspiring team in general, whether they're a favorite or a dog against a top team. Some people have a great read on Dallas. My read on Dallas isn't that bad. I feel like I've won more often than not with their team totals this year. But every game, it's like, man, what do I really think is going to go on with this team? And of course, Jason Robertson was out the last time they played Tampa Bay. They lost. Now he's back. He's playing great. My lean on this one would be Dallas team total over.
When I saw that Hintz and Robertson and Pavelski have scored 44% of the Stars' goals this season, I was pretty sure. I mean, I love the line, but Guryanov, Radulov, Ben, Seguin, do something. Do fucking something. I don't know if, look, I've got futures on the Stars, and I don't know if they're going to be there when the playoffs start. I don't. The Knights have circumvented the cap, and Lightning snapped their 4-game losing streak with a 5-0 win at home over Buffalo. They do get McDonough back, and he was a +18 last year in their run to the Stanley Cup. So it's going to be important, just a little bit of confidence. Got veteran presence back there. Dallas snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 6-4 win at the Blackhawks on Sunday. Robertson scored twice. He has 21 goals in his past 36 games. Look, let's just see what the market movement is here. I'm nervous about this spot. The Stars opened up at +135. Now they're at +125, down to +118 at FanDuel. This total opened up at 6. It's sitting at 6. I guess I do think there will be goals in this game. So I have interest in the over. But there's Eric Jones on the under. So
Dallas. It's not a shock if Dallas brings a dud in a big game at any point in time. But I'll take Dallas team total over 2.5 -125. Current line at Heritage. Dallas team total over 2.5 -125. Maybe they'll win 3-1. Maybe they'll lose 5-3. Who knows? But I'll take the Dallas team total over 2.5.
Look at this stat from Millsy. Says the under has hit 9 straight road games. Under's hit 9 straight road games for Tampa.
Yeah, I mean they, yeah. Wow. Well, wait. The 9 straight road games for Tampa?
Yeah.
Not their last one. They went over at Washington.
Okay, I'm just reading his comment.
Yeah.
Let me just
big run of road unders. Yes, although a few of those were because they didn't score against Edmonton, against Calgary. Then they an under against Seattle where they put up goals. But see, so that might be a little bit illusory, maybe. I'll take Dallas team total over 2.5 minus 125.
Oh, Turnsy, I got them all. I've got the over. I believe it's 95.5. I got to write down my just exactly what they are, but I believe I have over 95.5 points for the season, which they could do and not make the playoffs. And then I have them to win the division, which obviously is a loss, and I have them to win the conference and win the cup, which I'm not very confident about. All right, let's roll on here. I do have interest in the over 6. I do have interest in that. And then we have 2 games left before MLB. Let's roll.
Okay, Vegas and Vancouver. This is a tough one. It's going to be a pass for me, I think. Both teams obviously in the playoff hunt. Both teams desperate. So when I look at that, I think maybe under. That's very dangerous, of course. Maybe first period under. I'm not sure. Vancouver pounded Vegas recently, so Vancouver can clearly play with Vegas, although Vegas has won 6 out of their last 7. Again, both teams in the playoff hunt. Both teams desperate. If you gave me a free play, I guess I'd take the first period under. But other than that, it's going to be a pass for me.
Let's just take a look at what we're dealing with here. The Knights open up at minus 115. They're up to minus 140, 146. This goes at 5.5 and is moving to 6. Mark Stone is been practicing, so it looks like he'll be back in the lineup. Pacioretty is back. So you're going to have Pacioretty and Stone in the lineup. Also, hopefully the Iron Lady, Margaret Thatcher Demko, will have something to say about all this. Leonard has got to step up for this hockey team. 23-16-1, 2.76 goals against average, 909 save percentage. It feels like the Golden Knights are coming together at the right time, but they shouldn't be this big of a favorite. They're 19-15-1 on the road. Maybe that's not a proper indication of how good they are because Stone's been out for so long, and we haven't seen. They moved Stevenson to the wing but put him on the first line with Eichel. And now they got Patches back. So the Golden Knights have won 6 of 7. They're back from the Kings, 2 points. The Kings won't make the playoffs. I do believe that they won't make the playoffs, and that would be the opportunity for the Stars to get in. And the Canucks coming off their third straight win, 4-2 at home over the Sharks on Saturday night. And I know why Dennis Garcia would be comfortable with Vancouver money line. And if you are betting Vancouver money line, I guess I would wait and be patient and wait. And the money's going to keep coming in on Vegas. Let's just kind of look at that actually really quickly. We have not a lot of tickets in, but all the money's on Vegas. 67% of tickets, 99% of cash. Very small amount of tickets in, just 2,500. I get why I would have interest in the Canucks. I can understand why there'd be interest in the Canucks here. I think we're almost at where the price is right. And Stone hasn't played in a long time. And when Stone is announced in, more money is going to come in on Vegas. I can understand why Dennis is on this move, and I might join him. Let's go this last game here, Devils, Coyotes, and then move on to MLB.
I guess another pass for me. Arizona, obviously, for a while, they were doing great. And actually, I heard MMA Podcast nailed that one, called it. But since Clayton Keller went down, it just looks like they're mailing it in now. They can't really score. They're losing most games. New Jersey, how motivated will they be? I'm not exactly sure. They beat Dallas in their last game, but before that, they were losing as well. Pass for me. If you gave me a free play, maybe I'd take the under. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if this is up to 6.5 now. I mean, I find that shocking. I mean, we just saw the Devils snap their 5-game losing streak by playing very tight defensively. You got no Hughes, so right. Hischier is playing very well. But we've seen what Vejmelka is capable of doing at home, and it looks like it's going to be Nico Dawes, which doesn't inspire much confidence. You have a 17% power play for the Devils and a 13.6% power play for Arizona. You talked about they're 1-4 without Clayton Keller. Now they've given up at least 5 goals in those 5 losses, and have been outscored 27-4. So at 6.5 is too high.
I was thinking maybe under, but then I was like, there's so many unknowns here. I'm just going to pass.
Well, the reason why I like it is because we just saw the Devils succeed playing a certain way. And why wouldn't they do that again here? I mean, a 4-1 final for the Devils is what I see. And then I think the Devils will continue playing better hockey. And obviously, we've seen this big move. I probably shouldn't move on it now. The Devils opened up at minus 135. And so it's minus now 155 at Bet 365. And I think the Devils take care of business. I think the Devils win again, and I think the under hits. I'm interested in both the under 6.5 and the Devils -1 here. So I'm going to put a little bit more time into these games as soon as the show's over, and then bet them, and I'll tweet it out afterwards. So
Yeah.
let's review all act. Did you want to add anything before we review?
I was leaning under though, but yeah, well, let's just move on.
Okay, let's review all action, and then we move on to MLB. Blues are no play in the Blues Bruins game. I have enough action and don't need to do anything, so I'm going to stay off that game. Loshak is on the Sabres plus 2.5 at -115. Sabres team total over 2.5 plus 110. Sabres first period plus 240. I love the 2.5 and I love the team total over. I might turn that into a 2 for a plus line. I will decide after, but I love those 2 bets and I would like to be involved. Anaheim, Florida, we are staying off. Then you're on the team total over 2.5 in the Rangers Hurricanes game. That game does scare me. You're on the team total over 2.5 for the Flyers at plus 110. And Ron Crawford's on the NHL spreadsheet play today's Washington -1. I want to back the Detroit Red Wings, and I will. I am and will. Pete, you're on the Isles. Team total over 2.5 -117, and the Isles -1 at plus 180. Isles Penguins. I'm not moving on that game. But I get it, and I will look a little more, but I don't expect to move on it. I'm going to move on the Wild -1 against the Oilers. You're on the under 7 at -146. I love that the Oilers have had this nice winning streak and then the home winning streak, and now they get to go on the road and play a team that needs to win, and I expect will win. And I expect them to turn it on, the Wild, as we finish off, especially Kaprizov had 10 goals in 10 games. Then you're on the team total over 3.5 for the Preds. And I'm off that game. Preds have outscored them 11-1 in the 2 games this year. Beat them 8-0 last game. That just sounds like chalkboard material to me. You're on the Blackhawks team total over 2.5. I get that with the issues in the Kings defense, but I don't want anything to do with either of those 2 hockey teams. I'm going to move on the Kraken first period at plus 0.5 at -115. You're on the Kraken team total over 1.5 at -162. Then I have interest in this over 6. I'm going to look at it a little closer, but I believe I'll move on it in Tampa Bay, Dallas. You're on the Stars team total over 2.5 at -125. I have interest in the Canucks, but I'm going to wait. And then Devils -1 under 6.5 for me. It is time to move on to MLB, Pete. And this will be our first chance to cap the MLB card together. I'm very excited about it. Are you ready to get to work?
Yeah, the pressure's on. I never thought this is a weird feeling where I'm feeling way more confident about NHL than I am about MLB. But that's all right. Let's go. Let's
do it. It is time for MLB. I've made 5 bets on the year, just 5. 3-2 plus 0.9 units. Average line -111 on Friday. I gave up Baltimore Tampa over 7.5 -110. That was a loser. Tampa won 2-1. Gave up Mets -1 at -127. That was an easy casher. That was the Scherzer start. And Diamondbacks first 5 at plus 120. And that was a push. Let's get to work here, Pistol Pete. I did a lot of watching of baseball with dry hands and no action and sobriety. Let's talk about this first game on the card. We start at 1:10 p.m. Eastern. The Boston Red Sox 1-3. All games have been played on the road so far this year against the Tigers 2-2, with all games being played at home. We're at Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. This game pops off in less than 1 hour. Let's start with the weather. At first pitch, it will be 62 Fahrenheit with the wind 5.8 mile per hour in. Goes up to 6.4 and then 7. So it gets a little stronger as the day goes on. We have Rich Hill versus Tyler Alexander, 2 lefties on the bump. Last year, Rich Hill, 7-8, 3.86 ERA, 1.21 whip, 150 Ks and 55 walks, was passed around a little bit and could have been picked up by almost anybody. Tyler Alexander, 2-4, 3.81 ERA, 1.26 whip, 87 Ks and 28 walks. Both of these teams were very good against lefty bats last year. Red Sox, 264, 758 OPS, while the Tigers were 260, 733 OPS. And with the additions that they've made in Meadows and Baez, you can only expect that number to go up. Eric Jones is on the under 9.5. Moose Money says Rich Hill expected to piggyback with Whitlock. And the taint play of the day is in, being 4-1. Billy Friedrich says Spencer Torkelson is the worst defensive first baseman I've seen in the last 25 years. Says Billy Friedrich, 25 years. Millsy says Jimmy's favorite pitcher. I do have a soft spot. For Rich Hill. Big Dick Rich Hill. Tigers' first 5 is a look already for CT Bays. I'm going to copy and paste this Cardinals team total over. Let me just set this table very quickly for you from an odds perspective and then hear what Pete has to say. We have, first off, let's move over this to MLB. The Tigers open up as plus 110 dogs. That's down to a plus 100 at BetMGM. There are plus 105s available as well. From a total perspective, it opened up at 9.5. It's dropped to 9. And now DraftKings has moved it down to 8.5. So a full run has gone down here. And then when we go to the cash flow, Pete, we have, sorry, let's move over to MLB. We have these Detroit Tigers. They say the two teams with the most line value, says Sports Insight, is the Detroit Tigers and the New York Yankees. The Tigers, with 14,992 tickets in, have 36% of the tickets, but 55% of the cash. Then 59% of the tickets, 76% of cash on the under, and it's gone towards the under. Pistol Pete, take it away. Boston Red Sox, Detroit Tigers.
Okay, like I said, I'm treading lightly in MLB to start, although I have started betting it already. But I can give some decent analysis. I'm not sure how many official picks I'll wind up giving, but Hill is an impressive guy, right? He doesn't really he doesn't get strikeouts really, but he does suppress hard hits. The issue is just that Detroit hits lefties very well, and in particular, they hit well against the type of pitch that Rich Hill likes to throw. The flip side of that is we don't know how long he's going to go. Is he going to go 4 innings? Is he going to go 2 innings? Again, yeah, it is true that that Whitlock is going to come in, so you don't exactly know what's going to happen here. Obviously, if Hill gives up 3 runs in the first 2 innings, they'll be gone. Whitlock will come in. So maybe live betting would be the way to go here on Detroit if Hill gets hit early. So I think it's going to be a pass for me. Is Trevor Story in? That's a big one because Trevor Story is great against lefties. And
the answer is no from CT Bays.
Right, so that's a big negative for Boston because he is a big bat against lefties. And Alexander had a strong spring. Low velocity, but he had a strong spring. So I guess this is going to be a tough one for me. I guess I might have a slight lean to the under on this one, assuming that Hill will be okay. Again, humidors are being used in all the parks this year. That maybe is an under the radar factor. I'm not exactly sure how much people are talking about it. It's going to be a pass for me. I could see a play on Detroit first 5 being very justifiable here. Again, Detroit hits lefties well, and especially the kind of pitch that Rich Hill likes to throw. But again, maybe only go 1 inning. I don't know. So it's going to be a pass for me. My leans would be Detroit first 5 and the under.
Yeah, Jimmy Gomez first 5 Boston, unless Tyler Alexander has added any pitches or velocity in his opinion.
Yeah, I mean he had a good spring. He had an excellent spring, and Story's out. So.
Yeah, there's some Dizzle in the house. I guess looking back at this, this game pops off now in 40 minutes or so. I can understand with Whitlock as the primary, Rich Hill could go 1 or 2 innings, it seems.
Yeah.
A lot of moving parts here, and I'm not going to hate myself for not being on it. Mike M. Pimp Slap play of the day is the Red Sox money line. CT Bays locked in the Tigers first 5 at plus 100. And Nasty Nate says Red Sox first of 5. And there you have it. That's the first game on the card, 1:10 p.m. No official picks from either Pistol Pete Loshak or myself. And Pistol Pete Loshak opening up his account here in MLB, and we've all of us who've watched him over the last 5 years, it's really, really fun watching him cap baseball and succeed in baseball. All right, 1:10 p.m. That game is gone. Let's talk Guardians, Cincinnati Reds. This game pops off at 4:10 p.m. Eastern. The Guardians 2-2 on the young season. So are the Reds, but this is the home opener at Great America Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. So let's start with the weather at Great America Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. First pitch, 64 Fahrenheit, wind in 5.4 miles per hour, and it gets stronger as the game goes on. An hour in, 7.2. In the final hour of the game, it gets up to 8.3, and that is the high here. We go over to this. We have Shane Bieber, who took the loss at the Royals on opening day, went 4 2/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 4 Ks, and no walks. Didn't allow a homer against Molly. And we talked a lot about Molly's splits last year. and they certainly seemed in play because he looked very good on the road yet again to open up the season for the Reds. 5 innings, 3 hits, no one runs, 7 Ks, 2 walks, a 6-3 win. Cleveland versus righties were poor last year, just 235 average and a 700 OPS, while the Reds hit righties very hard, and we can imagine that those numbers will likely drop without Suarez and without Winker. They hit 258 with a 785 OPS last year. Moose Money says Bieber's velocity is a big issue. Bruce Hayward is on the Reds money line, and Sammy Calmer says love no runs first inning here. Love no runs first inning here. And by the way, Derek Miller says Flames are flaming. Dumb bet with the Kraken. That's what do we have from Derek Miller. And yes, Nasty Nate, Sonny is a big Red Sox fan, a big Red Sox fan. So let's take a look at the market here. We have these Guardians opening up at plus 105. Now they're minus 110. This total opened up at 8.5 and has dropped to an 8. And when we go to the cash flow in this spot, we have 9,684 tickets in, 59% of the tickets and 80% of the cash on Cleveland and Bieber, but just 79 or just 21% of the tickets and 27% of cash on the over. Take it away here, Pistol Pete Loshak, Guardians, Reds.
Definitely leaning Cincinnati. Yes, I understand the splits for Molly. I'm going to head into the season this year, assuming that is just due to variance, maybe due to some psychological issue that is in the past. But statistically, Molly looks excellent. A lot of question marks for Bieber. I know he's going to be on a pitch count here, but his peripherals look a little bit iffy. His velocity looks a little bit iffy. Reds also, their offense project much better against righties than lefties this year. So I'm definitely leaning Cincinnati. Full game and first 5. I think I might make first 5 an official play, though, on Cincinnati. Could make an argument for maybe this Cleveland first 5 team total under. But in general, I think Molly is probably worth betting on until further notice. Bieber is worth being a little bit nervous about when betting on, or maybe leaning towards betting against until further notice. Again, I'm entering into MLB slowly, cautiously, not biting off more than I can chew. Definitely liking Cincinnati here, and I think I might take him first 5, although I like him full game as well. Obviously, Stephen Kwan is a beast, and I think that's probably for real. That is awesome. So Cleveland has some, and Bieber, maybe he'll change things around. Maybe Molly does have legitimate issues at home. As of right now, though, I like Cincinnati first 5, and I think what the hell, I'll make that an official play. Let me just shop around a little bit, Jimmy the Bag. But again, Molly, excellent for real. Bieber, question marks. Cincinnati projects this year better, much better, significantly better against righties than lefties. Liking Cincinnati here. What's the comment section saying, Jimmy the Bag?
I will let you know here. I've just been copying and pasting all of the looks here. We have Sammy Calmer, no run first inning in Reds Guardians. Eric Jones on the Cleveland money line and the under 8.5. Bruce Hayward took the Reds money line. THC is Rizzers on the first 5 under, and Hunter Engelhart is on the first half under at plus 100. It's now at minus 105 or around minus 105. Dommy Gun leaning first 5 under at this point. Bruce Hayward says Reds money line, take that plus money to the bank. And Ron Crawford on Cleveland money line. So we see both sides of the coin here. Bruce Hayward saying Tyler Mahle, a damn good pitcher in my opinion, especially the first game to open the season. The question is, were the splits from last year something that's going to continue?
Wow, Ron Crawford liking Cleveland money line. The silent oracle giving out an opinion with no commentary. That's scary. Poker Addicted 79. Bieber doesn't have question marks. Based on some peripherals that I've seen, that I've looked at, I think he does. Although again, peripherals are MLB analytics. You can, if you look hard enough, you can find something that, especially with starting pitchers, that is a question mark for anyone. But based on some peripherals that I've seen, I have some questions about Bieber entering into this one. But yeah, I mean, he's obviously, it makes me nervous to bet against him, especially in light of the the splits that Molly had last year, and coming off of an excellent first start this year. So yeah, it's tough. It's wow, poker addicted. Cleveland first 5, book it.
Yeah, same
Wow.
with Jimmy Gomez. This is a very easy watch and learn spot for me, so I'm very comfortably staying off of this spot.
Mike M, I thought Bieber got the early hook. Well, he's on a pitch count. I mean, there was a short spring, so a lot of starters are on pitch counts to start the year.
Yeah, I don't. I don't dislike that first 5 under. But
now Jimmy Gomez, Cleveland first 5 as well. Wow, look at that. I definitely haven't bet this one yet.
I don't dislike that. Maybe I have. Okay, let me take that back. I guess I have interest in that first 5 under 4.5. All right, Pistol, are you making anything?
I'll hold off. Definitely leaning Cincinnati though, but yeah, Cincinnati has a lot of positives, and Bieber, we'll see.
All right, we move on to 4:10 p.m. Eastern. The Seattle Mariners 2-2 to start the season on the road at the Chicago White Sox 2-1, and it is the home opener at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois. Let's take a look at the weather first and foremost. Open first pitch, mostly clear, 55 Fahrenheit, and it is sideways in 8 miles per hour, and it drops slightly as the game goes on. It finishes off around 6 miles per hour. We have Matt Brash and against Vincent Velasquez. Is that being confirmed? Can you imagine a home opener with Vince Velasquez on the bump?
Well, yeah, I mean they had injury issues. That's why he's in here.
Unbelievable. Moose Money says how to fade Velasquez. Now Velasquez has really, really got me right in the old bottom mouth in his career, and I despise him. But do we back 23-year-old Canadian Kingston native, just like our man Birdie, Matt Brash, 4th round pick out of the San Diego Padres. Last year in high A and double A, he went 6-4 with a 2.31 ERA, 1.14 whip, 142 Ks, and 48 walks. Vince Velasquez has already made an appearance at the Cardinals. 4 innings, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 homers, 4 Ks, no walks. I mean, that's what you're going to get with him. Last year, these Mariners could not hit righties. 223 with a 684 OPS. Now, we know that this lineup is much stronger than it was last year. The White Sox versus righties, 255 and a 753 OPS. So let's take a look at the market here. We have the total opening up at 10 and dropping to 9.5, and then dropping to 9. The White Sox open up as minus 140 favorites. That's dropped to minus 120 or minus 125. I mean, whom do you trust here? 23-year-old Matt Brash or Vincent Velasquez? Let's see where the cash is in this spot. We have, the hell is it? Here we go. 11,247 tickets in. We have 26% of the tickets and 47% of the cash on the Mariners, and then 44% of the tickets and 67% of cash on the over, but it's dropped from 10 down to 9. Take it away here, Pete. Mariners, White Sox.
I'll make this one an official play to start the year. I'm not going to overthink it. I'll take Mariners first 5 at plus 100. Velasquez is, his struggles are for real. This guy Brash, again, lots of, unexpected. Expect the unexpected when guys make their first major league appearance. Even if they, were great in the minors and had an excellent spring as Brash did. A lot of times, it works the other way, too. Some guy who was hit hard in spring and doesn't look impressive in the minors will come up and have a great first start kind of out of nowhere. So if Brash gets, especially against the White Sox lineup, so if Brash gets crushed, wouldn't be a shock. He did have an excellent spring. Velasquez very iffy. In MLB, you can always outthink yourself out of every play. So I'll just make it official. Seattle, first 5 innings, plus 100. No kind of a no-brainer situation here. Very vulnerable starter for the White Sox. Young guy starting for Seattle with big upside. Not great to be fading a White Sox lineup in their home opener, but first 5 innings, I will take it. I'll take it.
I get it completely, but I think even though the wind is not helping, and what was the temperature again? Let me just see this temperature one more time. 55 Fahrenheit. I like the first 5 over 4.5.
Okay.
If you had a free play on that first 5 total, what would it be?
What's the line? Let me see the line.
4.5.
At 4.5. Yeah. I would. Yes, definitely take the over for sure. That's actually not a bad play there, Jim. Yeah, I'm not going to make it, but yeah, I would definitely take the over if I had a free play on it.
Billy Friedrich says White Sox first 5. They're 3-0 to the first 5 so far this season. And said also Harold Baines will be in attendance for the home opener 11 months after a heart and kidney transplant.
Wow.
Excuse me. And that's great stuff. There, great information coming in from the chat. Jeffrey Blue, maybe this is the best bet. Yes, run in the first inning.
That's excellent. I didn't even, I was so rushed to prepare for this card. I didn't, although, during the regular season, of course, I love teams to score first and first inning bets. That is excellent as well. Yeah.
I think Jeffrey Blue is on one here.
That might be, yeah. What are the lines on that one? First inning run. I'm sorry?
My book here, Bet365, is obviously, trying to sneak in at night through your window and take money out of your wallet. It's minus 125 at Bet365.
Okay, I'm seeing Pinnacle minus 119. Not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in. I like it. Thank you, Jeffrey Blue. And thank you, chat, for the great insights. Let's keep rolling, Pete. 4:12 p.m. Eastern. Chicago Cubs, 2-1. All 3 games have been at home so far this year at the Pittsburgh Pirates, 1-2. This is the home opener at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We got Drew Smiley, who, Pete, made me a lot of money last year.
Mm-hmm.
And he had taken money. Look, everybody who's run with us through the baseball season knows that I'm a Drew Smiley fan, and watching his arm explode pitching for USA in the World Cup hurt me. I like the kid. He's not a kid anymore, but I like Drew Smiley, and I love that he came back and had a season last year. I love it. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to bet him, but do we have Jose Quintana confirmed? Is Jose Quintana confirmed from everyone? Because there was some possibility that Thompson would be in. I still got Jose Quintana, so let me know if that is a mistake. Quintana must not last long. Let's see if they have. No, he is there. We have confirmed lineups too, by the way. Oh, Frankie Schwindel batting cleanup for the Cubs. Frazier, Contreras, Wisdom, Schwindel, Suzuki, Madrigal, Hermosillo, Happ, and Horner. Hayes, Reynolds, Chavez, Satsugo, Castillo, Newman, Marisnik, Perez, and Cole Tucker for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Cubs hit lefties very hard last year, and they continued to hit lefties after Rizzo and Bryant left. It's wild. 247, 749 OPS. You want to know a team that doesn't hit lefties? It is your Pittsburgh Pirates. 236 average, 660 OPS. 660 OPS. Let's talk about the market movements and the weather, and then hand it over to Pistol Pete Loshak. First pitch, 65 Fahrenheit, and very low wind, almost no wind, 2.3 miles per hour across the diamond, then goes down to 1.6. So a nice day for possible offense. Let's talk about the market and what we have here. The Cubbies open up at minus 135. That's down to minus 115 or minus 120. This total opened up at 8.5, and we have our first 9 on the board at FanDuel. Our first 9 on the board at FanDuel. Now let's take a look at where the cash lies in this spot here. We have, give me 1 second. Where the Cubby spot? There we go. They have a line value on Quintana and the Pirates here. That's what they're saying. 8,372 tickets in. 21% of the tickets, 29% of cash on the Buccos. 57% of tickets, 81% cash on the over, and it hasn't moved to 9 yet. Take it away here, Pistol Pete, Cubbies, Buccos.
Yeah, Quintana obviously looking pretty crappy in terms of everything. Analytics, his stats from last year. He had a bad spring. So, I don't know if we want to overreact to that, but he's definitely going to be a guy that I'm looking to fade in general. Again, I'm taking things very slowly to start the MLB season because of, all the new rules and humidor being used in every park and all this stuff. And in general, I'm always careful about taking, team total overs at Pittsburgh Stadium in general. But, I would be leaning, Cubs team total over. Leaning Cubs to just hit Quintana in one way or another. And I guess leaning Cubs first to 5 as well. Smiley is he was pretty good last year. He's a junk baller, but he had some peripherals that don't look that great. In his last 100 batters last year, his ex-WOBA rose significantly. Now, what is ex-WOBA? I have no fucking clue. What the fuck is that? But the article that I read seemed to imply that was a really bad thing. So, Smiley is okay. I'm just kidding. I know what ex-WOBA is. Smiley is okay. Makes me nervous betting on him, though. Again, I'm going to take it easy to start the season. I don't really love Smiley, though, so I'd be thinking about a first 5 over. Little obvious. But again, taking it easy to start the MLB season, but my leans as of right now would be, I guess, first 5 over, and I guess Cubs first 5 as well. A no-brainer fade of Quintana.
I would like to fade Quintana as well, but I need to see Smiley on the bump a couple times here before I can move on it. So if that is the case, and we're going to have a sold-out PNC Park, the over is appealing. CT base is 80% of Cubs tickets, yet line is dropped. That is enough to keep me off CT base. That's clearly enough to keep me off.
Yeah.
Deacon Mike, by the way, last year with his home run props was unbelievable. So he'll be dropping them in the chat this year, and do keep an eye, especially when the Cubbies are involved, because he knows this team inside and out. Hunter Engelhardt says Quintana April ERA is the worst month every year over his past 4 years. Piker says a lot of money on the under, keeping that from moving up. It was already at 9.5 and dropped to 8.5. Do I have that here with my information? No, I have it as an 8.5 opener. Interesting. Okay. Very, very interesting. So the first 5 over is with that sold out park and these questionable pitchers. I'm interested in. Let's just take one last look at the cash here on that total. We have 58% of the tickets on the over and 82% of cash on the over, and a 4.5. And Dommy Gun says seems Smiley's better early and Quintana the opposite. And Benjamin Mills says it was 9 last night. Was 9 last night. Okay, again, we're using a different site this year. We're using Action Network for the line movement. The site that we have been using for years is I don't know if they're not in the programmers or what's going on with it. And Fat Wally says rumor Pirates wearing mustard unis. Where's my right here. I got that mustard hat here, man. I love this mustard fucking bucko's hat right here, man. It's a thing of beauty. Okay, Pete, you're off this spot.
Yeah, I mean, Cubs to score first is tempting as well. But yeah, as of right now, I'm gonna pass. Although it's very tempting to take a shot. Somehow fading Quintana here.
Yes. And that would be like a first 5 team total over for the Cubs or something of that nature.
Cubs to score first. Cubs. I mean, now you can even bet all these crazy, other props as well. So, Cubs first 3, something like that. But again, it's just I'm not going to start off the season giving a lot of picks willy-nilly that I don't feel confident in, and then then I'm behind the 8 ball for the rest of the year. So I'm taking it easy, taking it careful, giving all the analysis though, reading the comment section. Definitely Quintana is legitimate first thought fade going forward, though.
Oh, it's so much fun capping MLB with you. I'm going to look forward to these Tuesdays immensely. We move on to 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Oakland Athletics 2-2. All 4 games played on the road thus far against the Tampa Bay Rays. 3-1 at home so far this year. Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. We have Adam Oler on the mound. 27-year-old right-hander. 2.45 ERA, 1.02 WHIP. Over 44 innings at AAA Syracuse last year, was in the Mets organization. There's Lamont Williams in the house, man, that we respect very much and love very much. Going up against 24-year-old Tommy Romero, AA and AAA last year, 8-2, 2.61 ERA, 0.96 WHIP. 110 in the third innings, went 145 Ks and 31 walks. The A's hit righties decent last year. We can expect those numbers to drop with this new look lineup. 237 average, 721 OPS. We have Chapman up here now in Toronto, and we see his issues with the high heat. Look, he's a spectacular fielder. We haven't had a third baseman that can field like that since Scott Rowland. But the 39 homers that he hit last year, he can't lay off those high pitches, man. Rays versus righties, 245, 761 OPS. We don't need to worry about the weather as it's in the Dome at Tropicana. Let's move over to the the odds here. We have the A's opening up as plus 175 dogs. You can get them at 170, 175, or 180. The total opened up at 9 and has dropped to 8.5. There's TJ in the house. Says 2 weeks of following leans and not risking any money in MLB until I can get enough data.
Yeah,
I get it, TJ. You're a smart, sharp dude, and I get why you'd be doing that. Let's just take a quick look at the cash and then hand it over to Pistol Pete Loshak. Just 6,582 tickets in. 30% of the tickets on the Oakland A's and 75% of the cash, Pete. Then 40% of tickets on the under, but 69% of the cash there. And 2 relative unknowns on the bump. Take it away, A's Rays.
Well, I'd like to take Tampa Bay here, but the line is probably a little bit too steep, especially at this point in the season. Romero is a guy who is not an unknown to people who, follow minor league studs. He had a great minor league career, looks very promising here, but again, it's just a huge number. Aller struggled in the spring, but he had, good numbers at AAA last year. He's one of those guys who doesn't have great stuff, but he has a tough demeanor, which does matter. If this were 160 or lower, I would jump all over Tampa Bay. But getting up into the 200s, I just can't pull the trigger. You have to. It's very tempting in MLB to see a team that has an obvious edge and be like, all right, minus 160, minus 200. What does it really matter? A huge amount. It matters everything. So would love to take Tampa Bay here, but at this point in the season, can't do it. Romero, I would expect him to have a good start. Aller, I would expect him to struggle a little bit, and maybe Tampa Bay team total over. Also, team total over is something I was thinking about. And there you go, Ron Crawford raised team total. Yeah, that would be there you go. And other people are talking about Tampa Bay team total overs as well. That is, if you gave me a free play, that's definitely the one that I would take. There you go, Jimmy the Bag. There's my analysis.
It's excellent analysis. TJ would be looking at the A's team total under, expecting Romero to throw well. Aller not making it to the show till he's 27 years old. Do we say that COVID has played a role in some of these late opportunities for these pitchers?
No, I mean, he's one of these guys with, his natural talent isn't the greatest, but his attitude is awesome, and so, guys like that are guys that you would expect to continue to have success, not elite level success, but quality level success. So definitely, I don't really want to bet against him as a huge underdog here. It's going to be a pass for me. But if you gave me a free play, I would probably take the Rays team total over.
And then let me just take a couple looks here. First 5 minus a half is minus 135 for the Rays, and then the minus 1 I would get at minus 151. So at this point of the year, that's just too juiced in your estimation.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
The first 5 minus a half for me would be minus 135 on the Rays. The full game minus 1 is minus 151, and if you gave me a free play, I would take that as opposed to the other side, but I definitely wouldn't bet it. All right. Blue Jays. Okay. And Lamont Williams has locked in his max bet is the team total over for the Tampa Bay Rays. Team total over for the Tampa Bay Rays. All right, let's move on. Next up, 6:45 p.m. Eastern, New York Mets 3-2. All 5 games have been played on the road at the Philadelphia Phillies 3-1. We're at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Let's start with the weather in Philly. First pitch clear, 70 Fahrenheit. It's a nice night. 9.7 miles per hour is the wind, sideways in, but it dies very quickly. 5.3 miles per hour within an hour, and then 2.5 miles per hour and out, actually, by the end of the game. So it dies down and changes. We have Tyler Meagle, 5 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 6K, 0 walks, and a 5-1 win at the Nats, and it was impressive. It was the season opener, and he showed, a lot of skill. Remember, he had bad splits last year. He was so good at home and weaker on the road, and he hadn't pitched above Double-A when he came into the show. Zach Wheeler on the other side, making his season debut last year, 14-10 with a 2.78 ERA, 1.01 WHIP, 247 Ks, 46 walks. So let's take a look at the odds here. The Mets open up at plus 140, drops to plus 120 at some books. Plus 130 is the average line, I would say. The total opened up at 9 and has dropped to 8.5. The Mets did struggle with righties a little bit last year, 237, 709 OPS, while the Phillies hit them a little harder, 237, 723 OPS. Let's take a look at the cash flow. We have 58% of the tickets, but 52% of the cash on the Phillies, and then 59% of the tickets and 90% of cash on the under. Take it away, Pistol Pete, Mets, Phillies.
I don't know if I want to pull the trigger on it, but I will probably wind up betting it. Shot with Philly, and probably Philly first side, of course. Philly first 5, of course. Meagle's first start was at Washington was great, but he's vulnerable against lefties, notably vulnerable against lefties, and Philly has a lot of big lefty bats in their lineup. Wheeler, I think he'll be fine. A little bit of a question mark. He did have some shoulder soreness in December and didn't pitch any spring training games. So, that is a concern. I don't think even his trainer could tell you exactly what to expect here from Wheeler, but I think we can expect him to be okay. Although if he gets hit hard, that would not be a shock in the slightest. So with all the volatility expected here, I might be leaning Philly -1 more than the money line, or the first 5 -0.5 at -111 more than the big favorite money line for Philly. Definitely leaning Philly though. I think Wheeler will be good despite not pitching a spring training game and feeling soreness in December, and looking to fade Meagle despite the fact that his first start was great. Lefties really do hit him, and the Philly should have. I think that's a solid bet. All right, I'll make it official, Jim. I'll make it official. And I'll take the Pinnacle line, first 5 -0.5 at -111. Philly first 5 -0.5 -111.
Okay, I'm going to write that down here in a second. I just want to take a look at what the lineups have done against Wheeler here. Pete Alonso hitting 353 off him and 17 at-bats. J.D. Davis, 385. Francisco Lindor, 333. So those are the big bats against them. And then, the Phillies have not seen much of Meagle, surprisingly.
Right. CT Bay says if he locates slider on opening day, he could be really good. Yeah. The first start was very impressive. But again, that was the first start. Now he goes on the road against a team with big lefty bats. We'll see. I am willing. I'll bet this, and I'll definitely bet it small. But I'm willing to take a shot with it.
Phillies first 5 -0.5 at -111. And is that your first? Oh no, you have the Mariners first 5 plus 100. Okay, Mariners first 5 plus 100. Okay, and Dommy's on the first 5 under 4.5 at -105. So Pete, free bet on the total first 5. Would you go under 4.5 or over 4.5?
First 5 under 4.5 or over 4.5. I would take. That is so tough. I take under.
I'm interested in the under. Ron, which stats are you looking for that I'm giving out? Because I'm using multiple sites here, so just let me know, and I will share everything always with you guys. All right, let's move on to 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Milwaukee Brewers 1-3, all 4 games on the road. I'm very close to moving on the under 4.5 in that spot with Domi Gunricci. At the Baltimore Orioles, 1-3, 1-0 at home. We're at Camden Yards in Baltimore, Maryland. Oh, you know what, Ron? Obviously, we're all kind of a little messed up with daily baseball data being gone. So I've just gone back to MLB.com for that. So that's just when you hit the preview on MLB.com. I'm not sure if that's the site I'm going to be using for the season because it doesn't give me enough information. I mean, what did I give out there? I give out the average at-bats, homers, and RBIs. I would like more information than that. So I've not settled with what I'm going to be using this point. All right, Camden Yards in Baltimore, Maryland. Let's take a look at what we are dealing with at Camden. Opening pitch, mostly clear, 73 miles per hour, and the wind very slight, 1.4 miles per hour across the diamond. It gets a little stronger, 5.3, but it's very light wind and basically across the diamond for the game. We have Eric Lauer, and who is Eric Lauer going up against? Do we have any? Alexander Wells looks like will be on the other side. Alexander Wells, so to be lefty on lefty here. And the Orioles hit lefties very hard last year, 260 average with a 749 OPS. The Brew Crew opened up as minus 165 favorites. You can get them anywhere between minus 160 and minus 167. This total opened up at 9, and we have our first 9.5 on the board. Let's move over to the cash flow in this spot. We have, here we go, 5,611 tickets in. 32% of the tickets on the Orioles and 58% of the cash. 51% of tickets on the over and 86% of cash on the over. CT Base says Brewers have been asleep since opening day. Danzo says Brewers look like they were sleepwalking yesterday. And will they bounce back? And do we trust what Eric Lauer showed us last year? Because his whole career was on the line, and he stepped up, and now he has a career again. Take it away here, Pete. Brewers, Orioles.
This line didn't have an overnight line, so I got nothing on it. I want to look into Lauer a little bit more. Yeah, last year was pretty impressive, and towards the end of his of last year, I was buying into it. Sorry, just had no overnight line, so I haven't looked at this game at all yet, as far as the bet's concerned.
No worries. And Stathead is what Big Ragu is looking at. CT Base says Yelich back injury, clearly an issue. Piker says we like runs in this one. Jimmy says actually opened at 8.5 in some spots. Says this one will get ugly. Will get ugly. Interesting. Let me just take another look at where the cash lies in this total quickly here. A lot of money on that over. Interesting. And then what happened with the market move? All the money coming in on the over, and wow, there were 8.5s available yesterday. Interesting. And then we I know that you do your own stats for bullpen. Were you as high on the Brewers bullpen coming into the season as Fangraphs and the other sites, Pete?
Yes. No, but I guess not as high as Fangraphs. I was a little bit surprised by that, but yeah, no, I didn't disagree with it. Yeah. I have I do my own bullpens, but I also I take them. It's notoriously hard to forecast bullpen strength even month to month. So I take it on a kind of week by week and month by month basis. So I have no real opinion as of right now on the Brewers bullpen, although obviously it looked great on paper to come into the season.
Very interesting here. And what do you think about Eric Lauer? Was last year an indication of what he's going to continue?
Yes, but it could turn on a dime. He's the kind of guy with a very low margin for error. So again, yes, I would any kind of like injury or reduction in velocity, and he will be going 3 innings and giving up 8 runs. But as of right now, until further notice, yeah, I think he'll be okay. I mean, mediocre.
And I don't see where I've copied and pasted the taint play of the day. I don't know how it's up here. Taint play of the day. Jose, did you manage to copy and paste the taint play of the day here? And is that a say hey spot? Let me know if that's a say hey spot. I missed that comment. Who has got the taint play of the day? I thought I guess I didn't. I thought I'd copied and pasted, but I don't have it here. Oh, it's the Cards team total over. That's the taint. Okay, thank you. It's giving me okay. Sorry. Taint is the Cards team total over 4.5. Thank you for that. It's okay. All right, thank you guys. Okay, let's roll on because next we have the spreadsheet play of the day in MLB, and it is the New York Yankees. I can't wait to talk about this game. Toronto Blue Jays 3-1, 1-0 on the road at the Yankees 2-2. All games have been played at home. We're at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, baby, the Bronx. Let's first start with the wind here in the Bronx, and first pitch, 67 Fahrenheit, 7.3 miles per hour, slightly out, and it dips a little bit later in the game, down to 4.5 and 5.2 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the market. It opens up with the Jays at plus 100, and it's moving up. Bet Rivers is the leader in that category, with Sugar House moving the Jays up to plus 112. This total opened up at 10 and is now at 9.5. It says it opened up at 10, but I saw it at 10.5 yesterday. Now that over 10.5 was at plus 110, so basically I guess it was a 10. We have Kukuch making his debut for the Toronto Blue Jays, 7-9 with a 4.41 ERA last year, 1.32 WHIP, 163 Ks and 62 walks, going up against Nestor Cortez, whom I really believe in. Moose Money says that he's time traveled from 1930. Cortez 2-3, 2.90 ERA, 1.08 WHIP, 103 Ks and 25 walks. The Jays were the best team in the league against lefties last year, 270 with NATO 6 OPS. No reason to think that would change. And the Yankees versus lefties were 255 with a 759 OPS. Let's go over to the cash flow. We have 9,167 tickets in. As I said earlier, the Sports Insight has the biggest line value tied with the Tigers is the New York Yankees. 41% of the tickets on the Yankees, 51% of the cash, and then 56% of tickets on the under and 83% cash on that very under. Danny Lopez says, what time do you think you'll be doing NBA? Hopefully in about 20 minutes. Take it away here, Pistol Pete Loshak, Jays, Yankees.
Yeah, this is a classic MLB handicapping situation at the beginning of the year. You're guessing, not sure what to expect, and especially with someone like Kikuchi, who has such a high ceiling and such a low floor when he crashes. When the sticky stuff came in, the crackdown on the sticky stuff came around, he took a big dive down. Now, that might have been a coincidence, but it also might not have been. Not exactly sure, but his spin rate and his velocity took a dip down. The spin rate took a dip down, and he also had a crappy spring. Now, I remember looking pretty deep into Kikuchi last year, and I was auto fading him for a while. And then at a certain point, I saw some stuff that indicated that he was going to, be a candidate for positive regression, and that did happen. So again, Kikuchi has a high ceiling, low floor. Everything I've seen so far, as of right now, is that he had a bad spring, probably going to get hit here. Cortez, not overpowering, but kind of gets the job done. That's scary to bet on when he's going up against a strong lineup like Toronto, but. I would definitely be leaning on Kikuchi to get hit. Yankees first 5, and probably Yankees team total over as well. That's my take as of right now, Jim.
And that I hate the 5.5s and first 5s, but I would lean towards the over. It is juiced to the under. What do you think if you had a free play on the 5.5 on the first 5 innings? Would you go over or under?
Oh gosh, free play, I guess I would take the over, but I wouldn't bet that. You're right.
Eric Jones on the Jays plus 110. Dennis Garcia on Vladdy to hit a homer at plus 330. Vladdy to hit a homer at plus 330. And then Rusty Kuntz back in business. Rusty Kuntz. I don't even know if. Oh yeah. Rusty Kuntz play of the day. Yankees team total over 4.5 at minus 118.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. I mean, again, all signs point to Kikuchi struggling again.
Nutflush says that hearing you say you look deep into Kikuchi sounds like a low budget adult movie.
fucking Nutflush Allen. Huge shout out to Nutflush Allen, and huge shout out to DJ Big Boss.
Yes.
Huge shout out to Nutflush Allen. That was hilarious. That was very funny.
DJ Big Boss, whom we love dearly. Big shout out to old DJ Big Boss. He gets around, man. This dude, he just gets around. Tires him out. He tires them out. Man. Gets them relaxed. Look at the eye target on that pick. All right, let's get back to. Oh shoot, sorry. Let's get that off. My apologies. Okay, let's get back to work here. Next up for us, Miami Marlins, and I do lean towards the first 5 over 5.5, but. I hate 5.5s. Hate them. All right, next up we have 7:07 p.m. Eastern. Miami Marlins 1-3, all games on the road against the Angels 2-3. All 5 games have been at home. We're at Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. There was a heat wave. Let's see if that heat wave is gone. It opened at 70 Fahrenheit first pitch, so the heat wave is gone, and it's blowing out heavy. 18 miles per hour. the lowest, it'll be 15 by the end of the game. So we are blowing out to right center or right field. Heavy for Jesus Luzardo up against Patrick Sandoval. Two lefties on the bump. Luzardo, at one point, we thought he was the future ace of the Oakland Athletics. 6-9 last year, 6.61 ERA, 1.62 whip, 98 Ks, 48 walks, 20 home runs allowed. Wow, he was bad. Patrick Sandoval on the other side, 3-6, 3.62 ERA, 1.21 whip, 94 Ks, 36 walks. Mariners versus lefties, 227. Sorry, Marlins versus lefties, 227 with a 655 OPS. They were weak. Now, obviously, they're going to be better. They have a stronger lineup this year. Angels versus lefties, 248, 738 OPS. Ron Crawford looking for Trout status. I will pull that up. Let's take a quick look at the market movement here in this game. We've had the Marlins opening up as plus 155 dogs. That's all the way down to plus 120 at BetMGM. This total opened up at 9. The first 9.5 is on the board here. Christopher Comatini says it's windy as fucking SoCal. We have this cash flow in this game. We have 6,103 tickets in. 35% of the tickets, 67% cash on the Marlins. Then 67% tickets, 69% cash on the under, even though the wind's blowing out like this. Take it away, Pete. Marlins, Angels.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I was just so in depth in these fucking analytics and WOBA that I was just like, someone makes a great joke. I'm like, what? Oh yeah, no, back to reality where life is about jokes. This one is. It's so tempting to when you see strong lineups or vulnerable starting pitchers to take those 5-inning overs, and they can be trappy. This one, though, I might pull the trigger on. I'm not sure. Luzardo, very up and down last year, and I just, he has great stuff, but his command is just not there. So I don't trust him. He's going to have, at bats where he looks dominant or innings where he looks dominant, but still overall, give up runs. His overall peripherals are not that great. His whiff rate isn't good. And then Sandoval, pretty good last year, but he had some arm fatigue. Now at this point in the year, how much of that is real? How much of that is precautionary? How much of that is the rumors? I'm not sure, but it's not a good thing to see or hear. So Miami doesn't have the strongest lineup, to put it mildly, but it is a major league lineup. So both starting pitchers look questionable to me, and I haven't bet it yet, but lean would be first 5 over. And I guess, I don't know. I guess my lean would be to, minus 150 at this time of year with a starter dealing with arm fatigue is tough to pull the trigger on. If you gave me a free play on the side right now, I guess I would put it on the Angels, but it's tough. But my lean would be to Angels team total over and the first 5 over.
Yes, I find it interesting that the cash is on the under. And how did that affect the total from 9.5 to 9? Very, very strange. Enough Fletch on says, I'm not trying to time the Angels offense getting started. We'll not be touching them until they show consistency. Trout with the stomach bug yesterday. Not sure if he will be in the lineup today. I can understand being uncomfortable in this spot. Let's move on to 7:20 p.m. Eastern. Washington Nationals 2-3, 1-0 on the road at the Atlanta Braves. 2-3. All 5 games have been played at Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's take a look at what the weather is going to be here. First pitch, 77 Fahrenheit. Beautiful. 10.2 miles per hour in, but it dies off pretty quick, down to 5.4 and 4.9 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the odds page here in this spot. We have the Braves opening up at minus 155, which is whereabouts they are right now, minus 154 to minus 165. It's total opened up at 9.5, juice to the over, and it's now juice to the under at some books or a pick 'em. It's juice to the under pretty heavy over at FanDuel, minus 118. Real Deal Prime says, Bryce Elder, talk to me. The 22-year-old 5th-round pick by the Braves. High A, Double A, and Triple A last year. Took the ride through the whole system. 11-5, 2.75 ERA, 1.10 WHIP, 155 Ks, 57 walks, 137 and 2/3 inning. Obviously, he was dominant in Double A and not so much in Triple A. Going up against Patrick Corbin, the enigma that is Patrick Corbin. 4 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 Ks, 2 walks, and a 5-1 loss at home to the Mets. I was on them first 5, and I do not know what to do with Corbin. He just costs me money every time I have anything to do with him.
Really?
And
okay.
Yeah, I just can't figure him out. When I fade him, he seems to throw a gem. When he throws a gem, and I'm like, he's going to turn his season around, he falls completely apart. And so I don't know what to do with him. And he's one of those guys who just kind of hurts me, and I want to stay away from him. And he's one of my 2 losses on the season. Nats first righties last year, 252, 735 OPS. And Braves versus lefties, 239, 732 OPS. And when we go to the cash flow here, before sending it off to Pete, we have 5,384 tickets in, 73% of tickets, 76% of cash on the Braves, 68% of tickets, 95% of cash on the over. Pete, take it away, Nats Braves.
Okay, well, first of all, Corbin, I talked about this in the NL East preview I did with Jose. I made a joke about Corbin's Cy Young odds. I see him as, basically fade or nothing until further notice. He's good enough to still be in the majors, but I see him as overvalued and overrated. I was definitely on the Mets in his first start this year, and here again, on the road against the quality lineup. Looking to fade him. Elder is a little bit tough. He had some good numbers in the minors, of course, and a good spring, but his strikeout to walk ratio wasn't great. His velocity isn't great. He just has a low 90s fastball. Doesn't mean he can't be an excellent, effective mid-range MLB pitcher, but it means that his ceiling is probably not super high. But he has a nice slider. So Elder is not great, but definitely not bad. So I'd definitely be leaning the Braves here. And this game also didn't have an overnight line, so I haven't capped this line yet. And we got minus 150. I would definitely be leaning Braves here, and maybe Braves first 5 team total over. Not sure about the first 5 innings on the Braves line, but Elder is a question mark again. Not great, but definitely not bad. It's tough, but again, as you said, Jimmy the Bag, as he rose in the minors, his results got worse, which is not good. He had a nice spring, which is good, but you definitely don't want to put too much into that. So it's tough, but leaning Braves first 5 team total over, maybe leaning first 5 over for both teams, but I think you know what? I think I'll make up. I'll go for it. I think I'll take Atlanta -1. I'll chop around a little bit while you read comments and tell me your thoughts on what I've said here. But I think I'll take Braves -1 at this line.
Danzo, that'd be incredible. I'm a 7.5. I was a 7.375, but my head's gotten fatter. 7.5. Piker is with you. He's on Braves -1.5 and plus money. Full game says they'll pull away later, if not sooner. So we'll let you line shop. Let's keep rolling though. Line shop and tell me what you have. I've got it all set up for you on the Braves -1 line. We have next up 7:40 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Dodgers 1-2. We have NBA coming up here shortly, so let's keep moving. 1-2 on the road at Minnesota Twins 2-2. All 4 games have been played at home. We're at Target Field in Minnesota. Let's see what we are dealing with here. We have light rain and drizzle throughout this game. 46 Fahrenheit, cool temperatures, and the wind blowing in, and it gets stronger as the game goes on. 13.2 miles per hour at first pitch, up to 17.9 within an hour with this light rain in Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Andrew Heaney going up against 33-year-old Chris Archer, who we only saw for 19 in the 3rd innings last year, and he looked awful. 8 walks, 10 earned runs. Did not look good. Andrew Heaney didn't look good last year either. 8.9, 5.83 ERA, 1.32 WHIP, but he did have 150 Ks and 41 walks. Allowed 29 home runs. This Dodgers team hits righties hard. At least last year they did. 245 with a 759 OPS, while the Twins were good against lefties. 244 with a 724 OPS. Not a ton of power against lefties. And Denero says fade Heaney. Ron Crawford says over, even though it's cold and the wind is blowing in. This Dodgers open up at -135. That's pretty much where they stand right now. This total opened up at 9, and the first 9.5 is on the board. First 9.5 is on the board. We get over to the cash flow here. We have 9,305 tickets in. 70% of the tickets, 83% of the cash on the Dodgers, and 47% of tickets and 90% of cash on the over. Take it away here. Pistol Pete, Loshak, Dodgers, Twins. And what was the line you got on the Braves?
-111. -1 was the best line that I could find.
All right. Take it away, my guy. Dodgers, Twins.
All right. Jimmy the Bag, overall, as you know, I am far from the best MLB handicapper in the comment section, but I'm serviceable. One of the calls that I did great last year on, if you remember, I don't know if you remember this, was fading Heaney. Do you remember that, Jimmy the Bag? As soon as he started to regress, I said that I was auto fading him and giving at least team total overs fading. Do you remember that, Jim, or not? Not really.
I do very much.
Yeah. Which I've definitely made some wrong calls as well. And overall, I'm just slightly better than average relative to the MLB handicappers in the comments section. But that was a call that I made that was right. Now, he had a bad spring, and this is very important, right? So you're like, this guy sucks. The Dodgers are a great team, and they're really good with developing pitchers. Why did they sign him? And you look into it a little bit more, and there were 10 other teams who wanted to sign him too. And you're like, okay, that tells you something, right? People think there's upside with Heaney. He had a bad spring. He says he was working on a curveball, which is not surprising. The Dodgers, I'm sure, are working with him to improve what he does. And so the fact that he got hit in the spring is not good, but it's a little bit forgivable. His fastball spin rate is looking good. He's getting hitters to chase his pitches. So I'm definitely not betting on Heaney here, but I'm definitely trusting the reports that I'm reading about how the Dodgers believe in him and they think he's worth investing time and money into. So that's my take on Heaney as of right now. And Archer was kind of iffy last year. His velocity was never his strong suit, but his velocity in his spring was good. His hard hit percentage is not great, but he's okay. Serviceable. So this is just going to be a hard pass for me. But I do want to point out that the Dodgers management and other scouts around the league believe in Heaney, and you can't ignore that.
No, this is a tricky spot for sure. Billy Friedrich was Chris Archer's high school counselor. Says he was a good guy right there. Dennis Garcia says I have a bias towards Archer, still his favorite pitcher. Piker says because the Dodgers have an unfair lineup, I'll probably never, ever fade.
Problem with, Archer, the issue with Archer is that he doesn't have dominant velocity, which means that he's not going to be very unlikely to be a high-end pitcher. He wins with the slider, but sliders can cause injury very easily, a lot more than other pitchers in general. So when his slider's working, he looks good or better than average. But if he has like an under-the-radar injury, that might not, show itself, and he might make a few starts with that injury, which is something I would expect from him. He'll have some rough patches. So that's my take on Archer.
Next up, we have Kansas City Royals 2-2. This is their first road game of the year at the St. Louis Cardinals, who are 2-1 so far this year at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. And we have come to the taint play of the day. The taint play of the day is the Cardinals team total over 2.5. Taint! Oh, sorry, I said 2.5. I meant to say 4.5, of course. It's not the first 5 team. It's a full game. Over 4.5. 70 Fahrenheit at first pitch and out. Sideways out towards the left field pole at 16.2 miles per hour. It does dip down to 11.8 miles an hour by the end of the game. But wind out in Royals Cardinals here. We have 6'6", 25-year-old Daniel Lynch, who has shown signs of being a very good pitcher and also showing signs of getting lit up. Touched 4-6 on the year, 5.69 ERA, 1.63 WHIP, 55 Ks, and 31 walks. Going up against Dakota Hudson, who only threw 8 2/3 innings last. Where's that? Sorry, is that this? Oh man, I didn't follow through enough with those stats. Let me jump into Dakota Hudson in a second. Royals versus righties last year, poor, 242 with a 688 OPS, while the Cards smashed lefties last year. Smashed them. 256 with a 798 OPS. These Cards open up at minus 275 and have dropped all the way to minus 160. Minus 275 opener. This total.
Yeah, are you sure about that?
That's just what the Action Network is telling me, so I don't. So no, I'm just reading what the Action Network is telling me.
Okay.
So I'll double check a different site, but that's
I think that was probably a typo.
Okay.
Yeah.
This total opening up at 8.5 has moved to 9, and there is a 9.5 on the board here. When we go over to the cash flow, we have 8,032 tickets in, 23% of the tickets and 56% of the cash on the Royals, and then 55% of tickets, 90% cash on the under. Take it away here, Pete. Lynch, Hudson, Royals, Cardinals.
Yeah, again, this is an early season game that I would love to pull the trigger on. Ron Crawford has no problem pulling the trigger on it. Yes, St. Louis smashes lefties. Lynch, we saw him last year. I can't even remember last year whether I bet on him when he was doing well or against him or on him when he was doing badly. Obviously, another guy, high ceiling and low floor. Supposedly, he's setting out to improve his fastball, curveball during the offseason, working with analysis and analytics provided by the Royals. And how much will that pay off for him? Not sure. I mean, he already obviously, he was highly touted and was capable last year of getting, great results relatively consistently in the majors. What's he likely to do here in this start on the road against Seattle? Tough lineup that against lefties. I'm not sure. If you gave me free plays, yes, I would tail Crawford and take either St. Louis or the St. Louis team total over. Dakota Hudson didn't really have a good spring, but maybe that means nothing. He's been impressive so far in his limited appearances in the majors. I like sinker ballers. He throws a lot of sinkers. The sinker ballers are the kind of guys who, when they're off, there's high volatility. They get crushed. They're basically throwing slow fastballs. But when they're on, they're the kind of pitchers where, what's coming and you still just pound it into the ground. Like Chen-Ming Wang, people remember him. He was an awesome sinker baller where it didn't even matter if he tipped his pitches. It still was hard to hit. So that's Dakota Hudson's ceiling. The more I talk about it, the more I like St. Louis here, even at minus 170. That was my lean. I didn't pull the trigger on it, but the more I read what Ron Crawford at the comment section has to say, and the more I listen to myself talk about it, St. Louis is probably a solid play here.
And Dakota did only throw 8 2/3 last year, 2 earned runs, 7 hits, 6 Ks, and 1 walk.
Yeah, I mean, he's an unknown quantity, although, what we've seen so far is fine,
So Taint play of the day. Taint is Cards team total over 4.5.
But in general, Real Deal Prime says Cards on a mission this year, and I would agree with that. In general, I'm high on the Cards. Hopefully the market won't price them in the stratosphere, but, I would agree with that take in general.
3 games left on the card. Next up, 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Colorado Rockies 3-1, 1-0 on the road. The Texas Rangers 1-3, 0-1 at home at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. So I don't have the roof status. I should have probably got it. It's tricky at Globe Life, or harder to figure out. Some of these stadiums, they let us know all the time, like in Arizona, but this one is a little tougher. So I will look that up. Chad Kuhl going up against Martin Perez. Kuhl 5-7, 4.82 ERA, 1.43 whip, 75 Ks, 42 walks. Martin Perez 7-8, 4.74 ERA, 1.51 whip, 97 Ks, 36 walks last year. The Rockies smashed lefties last year, 266, 778 OPS, and they've gotten off to a really nice start. I know we're only 4 games in, but they look pretty good. Rangers versus righties 232 with a 678 OPS. They struggled against righties last year. We have these Rockies plus 115 dogs go all the way up to plus 140 right now. This total opening up at 9.5 goes to 10 and then to 10.5. Viper says cool an auto fade. I took the over. There's El Dorado custodian in the house. And when we go to the cash flow in this Rockies Rangers spot, 49% of the tickets, 57% of cash on Martin Perez, and the Rockies, 56% of tickets, 56% of cash on the under. Take it away here, Pete. Rockies, Rangers.
Yeah, I would assume the roof is open based on where the total is, which is 10. It's juice to the over. Both starters kind of iffy here. I have no real opinion on this one, no real take. If someone else, cool as an auto fade, I don't know if I'd go give that strong of an opinion on him, but he's very questionable at best right now in my book. And Colorado is also a team, especially on the road, that I'll probably be looking to fade. So my lean would definitely be to Texas here, but I didn't bet that one yet, and I might have a bet on it by first pitch. But as of right now, I got nothing.
So the Globe Life Field Twitter handle is, I mean, it just shows that it was open yesterday, but it hasn't given us any information whether it'll be open again today. But if it was open yesterday, Eric Jones says weather bad here in Dallas. Roof probably closed.
Okay. Because when I see a total like that, I'm assuming it's open, but yeah.
Yeah. The Rangers roof status has always been a trickier one for me to get. So I'm going to keep an eye out on that. Let's move on. 2 games left before we get an NBA. 9:40 p.m. Eastern. Houston Astros 3-1. All 4 games on the road against the Arizona Diamondbacks. 1-3 at home so far. We're at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. I should have already got this roof status. Let me just grab it right now because this one is available for us. Diamondbacks roof status. Here we go. And we have, sorry, take a second here. The roof will be open. The roof will be open. So let's see what we are dealing with in Arizona. We have first pitch. Cool. Very cool. 69 Fahrenheit. I don't remember it ever being that cool. 14.8 miles per hour sideways in, and it dips to 9.6 by the end of the game. A cool night in Arizona. We have Luis Garcia going up against Mad Bum. Luis Garcia, 11-8, 3.30 ERA, 1.17 whip, 167 Ks, and 50 walks. Madison Bumgarner, 3 innings, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 2 Ks, and 4 walks in that 4-2 win in the first game of the year at home, the home opener for Arizona versus San Diego. Astros, as we know, they smash lefties. 270 average, 789 OPS. Diamondbacks versus righties, 230, 672 OPS. We have the Diamondbacks opening up as a plus 100. That's shot all the way up to between plus 125 and plus 140. And this total opened up at 9. We see 9.5s on the board. We go over to the cash flow here. 78% of the tickets are on the Houston Astros, but just 49% of the cash. Strange to see the market moving so quickly in their direction. Then 53% of tickets and 62% of cash on the under. And Lou Chase Fox says Garcia will dominate tonight. Bet the farm and the tractor. Take it away here, Pete. Astros, Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I think I might, I haven't looked into this game too deep because there was no overnight line. But in the morning, I was thinking Houston has got to be the play here, right? It's Bumgarner starting, and Bumgarner is, clearly on the downslope of his career. His velocity's down. Although, I think he's showing signs here and there where I'm seeing his velocity maybe up a little bit. But, just in general, he's in the low 90s, and that's not, especially against the Astros, that's not really going to get it done. Garcia is, I think that he's due for some regression, but still should be good. And again, I'm thinking Garcia might be a little bit overvalued, but still good. And the D-backs haven't been hitting so far, but I think that they're also in for some positive regression, I think. But overall, in general, this has got to be a Houston play or nothing, and I guess I probably will make it official. What's the comment section saying?
Yeah, Bruce Hayward nailing it, saying, why was the line so low for the Astros? They're completely better across the board. Says seems trappy. And
yeah, it does.
We have 22% of the money line tickets on Arizona, but 51% of the cash. An expectation that Mad Bum will be better this year.
He is a crafty veteran. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Wow. This is and I can understand why Luke Chase would be so confident here. That is interesting. This is going to need a little more time when the market is sending.
But you know what, Jim?
Yeah.
You can put on St. Louis -1, -116 on my official record as well.
Let's do that right now, Pete. And I get that. I get it. Cardinals -1 at -116 for Pete. And I may be rolling with you here. Sharpie says, I think Garcia is due for a big step, not regression. Skip AAA and put up those numbers last year.
I'm just saying that some of his peripherals, which, I don't know what the fuck these peripherals are, but they say that he's due for regression. And, it's, I don't know, at least on the road, I think. Yeah. He had such great basic numbers in his rookie year that, we'll see. We'll see. And he's got that weird windup, kind of like, Dontrell Willis. What the hell was that guy's name? Guy who was awesome. But you remember that guy?
Yeah, for the Marlins.
So Garcia has a kind of a goofy windup as well. I love Dontrell Willis, and when he was on his game, he was awesome. But it's just something that's a little bit unreliable long term. But yeah.
And big shout out to Sharpie. I don't know if you've seen his show. It is excellent. Every day at 3:10 p.m. here on Pub Sports Radio, Prize Picks, and it's he does a great job. His stats breaks down. It's fun to watch. It's a tight show, and the stats breakdown are excellent. Every day at 3:10 p.m. Eastern, Sharpie Prize Picks. It's a great show. All right, let's move on to the last game on the card. Then we get an NBA. 9:45 p.m. Eastern. San Diego Padres at San Francisco Giants. We're at Oracle Park in San Francisco, California. Let's start with the weather here. First pitch 50 Fahrenheit, and it's blowing out heavy. We know the wind swirls at Oracle, so we don't put too much into it, but 19.1 miles per hour out to right center on first pitch. It goes to 15.6 or 15.7. A real deal prime says I tune in Sharpie. You got to. El Dorado Custodian, I am a 7.5. I'm having 7.5 hat, and yeah. And I love hats very, very much. And I got some new stuff to show you guys too here at some point soon. Okay, CT Base is Sharpie. Need to catch your show. Everybody does. And we can see that the numbers are climbing every show because it's an excellent show. I'm a big backer of it. We've got great MLB content. We got Say Hey picks at 5:30 p.m. And that's like, going up to first pitch, where we have Sharpie's show at 3:10 p.m. So if you're looking to bet MLB, you've come to the right channel. Yu Darvish, 6 innings, no hits, no earned runs, 4 walks, 3 Ks, and a 4-2 loss at Arizona. He was in complete control. Going up against Alex Cobb, who I have a rich history with because I have a vividness bias of him when he was on the Rays, shutting down the Jays. And I've lost a lot of money on Alex Cobb. I got a little bit back last year. 8-3, 3.76 ERA, 1.26 WHIP, 98 Ks, and 33 walks. Let's take a look at the market here. We have the Padres opening up at minus 120. They're down to minus 104. They're down to minus 104. Money coming in on the San Francisco Giants, who opened up at this dog and now are favorites at most of these books. This total opened up at 8 and is now at 7.5. Now at 7.5. Bruce Hayward says, I think the Padres will go on a little streak. Giants not the same like last year. I don't trust them right now. Padres versus righties, 243, 729 OPS last year. And Giants hit righties very hard, 250, 775 OPS this year. Now, Flashan says, I don't care if it's a hurricane. If the offense for the Giants stays the same, I will be a wealthy guy this year. Sharpie says, my only bet of the day so far is Padres first 5 minus 115. Says, big on Darvish this year. Changed arm slot over the window to the tune of 2.3 ERA in the spring. Then no hit Arizona. Cobb should get no more than 60 pitches. Let's take a look at, I'll take a look at what they would be first 5, but let's just take a look at where the cash lies here in this last game on the board. We have 6,456 tickets in, 53% of the tickets, 94% of the cash on the Giants. Wow, that's a surprise. 49% of tickets, 75% cash on the under. Before we take it away, big shout out to Dirty Birds Picks. Thank you so much for the dono. Love you, man, and thank you for your support. Dirty Birds Picks in the house means a ton to us. It means a ton to us. So thank you so much for thinking about us. Take it away here, Pete. Padres Giants, last game on the board.
This one I didn't have enough time to look into in depth, although Darvish looked, pretty impressive in terms of his first start and the adjustments that he's made. My official analysis on this one is whatever Nutflush Allen says it should be. That's what it is.
Yeah, Dennis Garcia says, I took San Diego yesterday. I bet them today. San Diego's just better at virtually every position.
Whatever Nutflush says about this game, that's my take on it.
Okay, well, we will stay tuned to Nutflush Allen. Do follow him on Twitter at Nutflush Allen because he gives out all the goods. All right, let's review MLB and then talk NBA. And here we go. CT Bays is on the Tigers first 5 plus 100 and the Pirates at plus 108. Mike M's Pimp Slap play today is the Red Sox money line. And we are off that Red Sox Tiger game that's already popped off. Hunter Engelhart is on the first half under at plus 100 in the Guardians Reds game. THC's on the first 5 under. Bruce Hayward's on the Reds money line. Eric Jones on Cleveland money line and the under 8.5. And Sammy Comer's on no run first inning. I am going to move on the first 5 under 4.5 in that spot. In the Mariners game, Pete's on the Mariners first 5 plus 100. I'm going to move on the first 5 over 4.5 and yes to the run first inning with my guy Jeffrey Blue. I'm on the first 5 over 4.5 in Cubs Pirates. I've yet to bet these yet. So I'm going to be on is what I should be saying. Lamont Williams, max bet is the Tampa Bay Rays team total over. Solo team total over. And I do have interest in the Rays. I'm going to move on the first 5 under 4.5 in Mets Phillies. Pete is on the Phillies first 5 -0.5 at -111. I have some interest in the over in the Brewers Orioles. It's a spot that Piker is on. The over 5.5 in Jays Yankees, I'm also interested in. Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play today is the Yankees, and Turnsy's Rusty Kuntz play today is the Yankees team total over 4.5, which I do like as well. Marlins Angels, we have no action on. Pete's on the Braves -1 at -111. Big Ragu is on the Rays -1 at -150. The Angels, Miami Marlins over 9 and Houston -1 at -130. Dodgers Twins is a stay off. Taint play today's Cardinals team total over 4.5. And Pete has moved on the Cardinals -1 at -116. And I find myself interested right away. Rockies, Rangers, no action. Astros, Diamondbacks, no action. Padres, Giants, no action. Does that sound right?
Yep.
All right, let's move on to NBA. And my turnaround has happened. I did lose with the Hawks on Friday. I stayed off action on the weekend. I'm 141 wins, 126 losses, hitting at 52.8% plus 3.08 units, ROI plus 1.15%, average line minus
No
1.
way.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. You were down like a lot, weren't you?
23.6 units was my.
And now you're positive?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. Jimmy the Bag. Very freaking impressive. It's easy to coast when things are going well. When things are going badly, that is the true test of a human being. And look what Jimmy the Bag did.
Thank you so much. And you did give me one of those uplifting speeches when I needed
Relatively shitty one relative to the first one I gave you. I wish we could find that.
But I have not done it in NHL. So that will wipe the smile off my face quite quickly. But we did do it in NBA. Let's bring in your expert. This man comes to us from Compton, California. And he is a great friend and a great capper. And I love him very, very much. Please welcome to the show, Wham Bam in the house. Trot Wam, how are you, my guy?
Come on now. I'm back with the legends as the NBA play-in. Come on, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I'm happy to hear you guys break down the cards, bro. Y'all hella hilarious as hell. Just like you said, it was an average uplifting that he gave you. That was hilarious as fuck. That was hilarious. Yeah, man. I'm happy to be here, bro. You already know.
Let's make a low bag show movie sometime, or a Pop Sports Radio movie.
Come on now.
We'll write some dialogue. Hell yeah.
Yeah, we talk about the great couples in the handicapping world that we are in, and we talk about, Mike and Kristen, the Nutflush Island couple. But Wham Bam and Brittany are another one of the staple couples, like one of the best couples that we have in the industry. It was so much fun hanging out with both of you guys. I wish we had more time, and we will have more time soon, Wham Bam. But it is time to get to work. Right now, we have the play-in games, 7th place versus 8th place on the docket. I'm going to set a table. We'll send it over to Pistol Pete Loshak, and then we'll go to Wham Bam, our NBA expert. We start with the Cleveland Cavaliers, 44-38, 19-22 on the road. At the Brooklyn Nets, 44-38, 20-21 at home. We're at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. And Astute Cast says I've had the opposite effect, down 15 units now, but the playoffs will be my statement season. Yes, you just got to trust, and in NBA, I love who we work with in NBA. I think that's a huge, huge asset. The people, the experts that we have on the show, and then the experts we have in the chat is why I kept focused. Ray Charles on Kevin Love over 11.5 points and -106. Bruce Hayward says first game Nets, take it how you want it. We don't even need to cap this game. And let's get to work here. Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York. Cleveland over the past 5, 2-3, 23rd in pace at 98 possessions a game. Brooklyn 4-1, 10th in pace at 101.10 possessions a game. Let's start with the market, go into the cash, and then we will set a quick table for Pistol and Wham Bam. The Cavs open up as 8.5-point dogs. It moves to 9 and is now at 9.5. This total opened up at 229.5 and has dropped to 227 and 226.5. When we go over to the cash flow, we have just under 30,000 tickets in. I love this shit. God, I'm so excited about the playoffs. The Cavs have 54% of the tickets on the spread, but just 32% of the cash. The big bets have come in on Brooklyn. Cavs snapped their 3-game losing streak with a 133-115 win over the Bucks reserves in the season finale on Sunday. Kevin Love just went off. 8 of 11 from 3, 32 points and 10 boards in 15 minutes? I mean, he just went off. Now, Jarrett Allen. I wonder if Wham Bam knows if Jarrett Allen will be in the lineup, dealing with that broken left middle finger. Missed last 18 games of the season. Went 7-11 over those 18 games, and not wearing a splint, and practiced on Sunday. So all signs must be pointing to him being in the lineup. And Garland's been so good this year. 21.7 points, 8.6 assists a game. So they just lost to Brooklyn on Friday night, 118-107. And in that game, the Nets destroyed them in the fourth quarter, 35-19, and KD went for 26. Nets coming off their 36. Nets coming off their fourth straight win, 134-126 home for the Pacers on Sunday, and 4 players scored 20 or more, and Kyrie went for 35. Pistol Pete playing game, Cavs Nets. What's the move? You make a move thing.
All right. The move for me is to listen to what you guys have to say and to read the comments section. But I'll tell you my thoughts. You know what I mean? My first thought, well, first of all, Allen's out, I'm seeing, right?
Is that confirmed? Allen is out.
People are confirming that in the comments section. And that's huge.
Wow.
That's huge.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
That is huge. So Allen's out. So when I hear that, my first thought is Nets team total over, but it's a playoff game. Everything gets convoluted and discombobulated in the playoffs. I don't feel comfortable taking overs in the playoffs when you have Allen out and the Nets winning how they win. Their defense has been a little bit better recently, but the Nets win with scoring. It makes me think obviously Nets team total over, but with the playoffs, it's just I don't know. And then my first thought is I look at this obviously even with Allen out. I mean the Nets are much better, way better, but even with Allen out, it's just like 9.5 points in a playoff game. Then my second thought is just you see this a lot in all sports. Teams with like elite players, they kind of have some issues during the regular season, and sometimes they lose, sometimes they don't cover. Sometimes they're down big and then they come back and get a win. When they were down by 25, but they don't come close to covering. And you're like, well, what's up with this team? Maybe they're overvalued, overrated. But then when it really matters, when crunch time comes, the playoff comes, all of a sudden the team starts playing the way they can. You're like, all right, okay, this is what everyone was talking about at the beginning of the year. That's the way it feels like with the Nets, right? Because you see them in their games. There's games where they're just like down and they start like, have a 36-14 fourth quarter or something like that. They're just a team that rolls. So I definitely don't want to bet against them. 9.5 seems like a lot of points. With Jarrett Allen out, I don't know what to think. I just talked a lot. I consumed a lot of seconds there while giving no opinions and no official picks. But that's my take on the game. Trot Wam, what do you think here?
Yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting game. We broke this game down last Friday. I think me and Jimmy did. And my thought process was that Cleveland definitely wanted to win, but I thought Brooklyn would win that way to lock up in this scenario here. I didn't think I thought Cleveland could lose a little bit because it's so tight in the East, so they could have slipped out of this 8th spot, but now they get the chance to run it right back against the team that they just played. You got to think they play a little bit better early on. I would think, they were able to figure out how to score in the paint through the second and third quarter. Through the fourth quarter, they weren't able to score 19 points. In the first quarter, they weren't able to score again in 19 points in that game as well. Kevin Durant obviously is going to be unguardable. Nobody's going to be able to stop him. I think the way they swing and try to trap him, he's going to be dishing the ball a little bit more. Maybe not actually getting assists, but just getting the ball rotating. I think Bruce Brown has a good chance to get some assists, but I wouldn't be mad talking you off the double-double here. I just think Bruce Brown may be scoring a little bit better as of late. He's been hitting his open threes when he gets those available. I like Bruce Brown today. I think he gets over the 13.5 points today. It's been hitting at a 70% rate over the last 5 games. So I'm thinking it can hit again. Like you said, the team total over for Brooklyn makes a lot of sense without Jarrett Allen in the lineup. That's a key paint protector for him, one of the elite paint protectors, and he would have been on the all defensive team if he didn't get hurt there. So I think Evan Mobley is definitely probably going to get Rookie of the Year. For sure. They get a second crack at it, the Cavaliers, if they lose today. I'm not mad at you guys for liking Brooklyn here. I don't know. Like one of the things, the reason why I'm on Darius Garland, and I'm on Darius Garland double as well. He was able to score on this team last game. So that's a lot of reason for, I believe his prop to go up because it was around 22 and a half, 24 and a half. Right now you're seeing 25 and a half. So I think the reason why you're seeing that is because he's going to look like the most improved candidate of the year. And this could probably validate it for him if he beats them in this competition. So I think he's going to have way better decision making with the ball. He only had 2 turnovers, but he did a lot of stupid things with the ball they normally wouldn't do, as far as running into traffic rather than just passing it out and finding the open man like he normally would. He didn't have that many assists. I don't think Rondo's going to get that many burn in this game. I think they're going to try to cut the lineup a little bit shorter here for the Cavaliers. I think even if he does play, he's not going to affect the assist for Garland. I don't think you mainly want to look at Karis LeVert in that regard, but I think Karis LeVert has to be a scorer rather than a distributor in this game. So I think Darius Garland is going to be the distributor here. So I'm going to take the double at plus 130. I think you're getting right now at plus 115. That's official play along with Bruce Brown over 13.5 points. As far as the game side, I think the best bet is just think that Cleveland plays a little bit better than 19 points in the first quarter. So they have been bad on the road, 1-4 ATS over the last 5 against the house, away from the house. But I think this is a different game playing in the same team. It's a little different scenario for him. Plus, towards the last of the end of the year, I'm not trying to use any stats. Like you said, Pete, it's a lot of this just based off of what you think is going to happen. So I wouldn't take them to score the first 10. And the reason why I say that is because Brooklyn, over the last 7 games, they hit the first 10, first 25, 6 out of those times. So I probably wouldn't do that, but I think they keep it close and they can win the first quarter. So I think the Cavs first quarter is live. Not made that official yet, but those 2 props that I did, Bruce Brown over 13.5 points and Darius Garland to get the double, man. I think he's the main guy today.
Over 13.
Wow. Awesome analysis. This THC is RZA. It's Cavs or nothing, not laying 9.5 for the Nets. And THC RZA, huge shout out to you for your awesome analysis of Atlanta-Toronto last Tuesday, saying that Toronto was the play in that one. That was really an impressive breakdown there. Shout out to you for that one. It just feels like 9.5 is too many points. Definitely if the Nets are down 10 or 12 at some point, live betting them to come back or betting them on the second half is something I would want to do. And Trot Wam, what do you think about the pace? Do you think that the Nets team total over is just a no-brainer, or you think maybe because it's a playoff game?
I like that look. I like that look a lot. I think the pace will have to be there for the Cavs. I mean, Bruce Brown actually, I not even did get to allude to this. Bruce Brown said that they weren't able to guard their action. So they just pretty much swing the ball. Their bench guys couldn't guard multiple action after the game. So I think they know that they don't want to be caught in half court as much. They need to keep the pace up. I think the Cavs do keep the pace up, and that may be leaning towards the over there for both sides for the full game and the team total. I think the team total may be a little bit better because, no one's going to stop KD. So, you know what I mean? No one's going to stop KD. And I'm thinking Bruce Brown is going to get 15, 20 points today. So, for sure, I think they're going to be able to score.
Okay, first, can you give me the juice associated with Brown over 13.5 points?
Oh, it's minus 110. I think it's pretty market consistent.
And the
double. I got it. I got that. My apologies. Let me see.
It's okay, man.
Bruce Brown, because I tweeted that out last night. Let me see.
Oh, yeah, I retweeted it too. What am I talking about?
Yeah. Let me see.
It's
minus 106. I got that minus 106 last night. And Darius Garland plus 130. But I think right now you're getting a minus 110 for Bruce Brown, and you're getting a plus 115 for Darius Garland.
Well, good job tweeting it out and getting our squad on it early. Okay, Wham, before we move on here, Brooklyn Nets, Boston Celtics, if that comes to fruition, where are you leaning, and what are your expectations?
Tough scenario, man. What's going on with Robert Williams? I definitely want to see what's going on with that. And also what's up with Ben Simmons? He's supposed to be coming back. If he comes back in this game, listen, it's gonna be the next spot all the way through. I think they just gonna have the thing that makes them bad is their defensive rebounding. They're not able to close out possessions. They keep giving guys multiple opportunities, just like the Lakers were, and they were pretty much bad all year with that. I think you cut that out with having a wing guy like Bruce Brown and Ben Simmons on the same floor at the same time, especially when Bruce Brown's playing a little bit better. You got those two guys along with Drummond, or not even Drummond, I'm sorry, but KD, because you don't want Drummond and Ben Simmons on the same time. You don't want that to happen. But as far as the with this, I really want to see them play, but my first instincts is just tell me that the Nets, if they get their guy back, it could be a close game because the Boston Celtics is playing crazy defense with Robert Williams in the lineup. Maybe they just rest them into the spot. They do get a little extra time because it's a whole week. They're top seed. So that is very interesting. It's a lot of question marks, but I believe if it is that scenario, it's going to be probably Boston in 6-7. If it's the Cavs in the scenario, I think Boston wins in 5-6. Or maybe even 4. Shit.
Wow.
Maybe even 4, bro.
Wow.
If they get Robert Williams back.
Wow. I can't wait for it. By the way, Jay Soul says his favorite prop in this game, KD over 2.5 threes. Went 0 for 6 last game, right? He looked awful. Says prior last game he was shooting 51% on 29 attempts in his last 4. I'm going to copy and paste. I've really worked hard at cutting all player props out of my action, and I've done a good job at it. And I'd like to continue to do that. But Jay, I get that look. By the way, I don't know if any of you guys seen Jay Soul cap, but I know we see him cap in the chat, but like cap on screen, he's awesome. He's incredible. I'd love to have him on the show. I know he's got a job, so it looks like Wednesdays will be available, but I just I really like watching him cap, and I hope that Goran Dragic, when he's coming in to the pregame cheers and he's all excited, I hope he buckles. And never plays again. All right, let's move on.
Sorry, I just want to say THC as Rizza says Cavs team total over easy money. Why would he say that? And if he says that, I'm thinking Nets team. I thought Nets team total over was a good bet. Maybe just the over is a good bet.
I still haven't figured out how to bet it at this point.
Right.
I haven't figured it out. Mark Schillingberg said his Time Lord going to be back.
That's the thing, man.
Everybody's question.
Simmons too, man. Like
Alex Gagnon says, "Don't you spew hatred on the Dragon?" Oh, I will. He's not welcome in Toronto. Fuck that guy. Fuck, he won't play on a fucking basketball team. Oh my god, I can't. I have a throbbing, veiny mouth. That's what I've got. All right, let's move on to 9:30 p.m. Eastern. The other NBA play-in game in the West, 7th place versus 8 with kerosene. What are those veins called? What are those big veins called, Pete?
I'm sorry, what?
Is it
varicose veins? Thank you. There's Jose. We haven't seen him in a while. Varicose veins. That's what I have for Dragic's mouth. Just a throbbing varicose vein hammer that I would just. Okay. LA Clippers 42-40, 17-24 on the road at the Minnesota Timberwolves, 46-36, 26-15 at home. We are at the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This is going to be a great basketball game tonight. Clippers 1-4, 15th in pace over their past 5, 99.40 possessions a game, while the Wolves are 3-2, first in pace at 105.20 possessions a game. Viper says, I'm first half and full game over here. And Johnny agreeing with me. Yes, he really. And then Resmob says, Jose with the $1 million answer. Yeah, he was right. It was very impressive. It was a very impressive. Bruce Hayward says, give me the Clippers and Tyronn Lue. I cannot wait to watch this basketball game tonight. Let's start with the market here. We have the Clippers opening up as 2.5-point dogs, then 3.5-point dogs. This total opening up at 230.5. No movement. And CT Base says Tigers up 2-0 and still batting in the third. CT Base, if I had known that you were going to be on the Tigers first 5 and I was just so overwhelmed trying to prepare for the show today, I would be with you. I love that you're going to. Well, let's get you home. Johnny says Pat Bev is going to have a game tonight. That's a big part of this story, is Pat Bev, and I'm looking forward for Wham to talk about the Pat Bev situation here. Let's talk about where the cash lies. 26,480 tickets in, 42% of the tickets on the Wolves and 52% of the cash on the Wolves, and Dennis Garcia on the Wolves, Bruce Hayward on the Clips. 59% of the tickets on the over, 58% of cash on the over. Clippers coming off their 5th straight win, 138-88 at home over the Thunder on Sunday. They went 3-1 against the Wolves this year. Now that was the games were in the first half of the season, and the Clippers destroyed them at times. Kawhi Leonard nowhere to be found. Paul George has been very good since he's come back. 22.6 points, 6.8 assists, 5.6 boards in this 5 games back, and 21 of 40 from 3. And Norman Powell, back from that foot injury, he averaged 22 points in his 2 games back in action. The Wolves closed out the season with their second loss in 3 games, 124-120 at home to the Bulls on Sunday. It didn't matter. This is the first time. Oh no, they've reached the playoffs once since 2004, 2005. Their second winning record in 17 years. They did lose 6 of their final 10 regular season games, but positionally they were kind of stuck. Oh, this game's going to be a fucking beauty, and I've got some biases, and I'm trying to fight them off, and I don't even want to talk to them. I just want to listen to you guys and listen to the chat and not let the biases get involved in my bullshit. So let's start with Pistol Pete Loshak. Clips, Wolves. Take it away.
I think the Wolves are the play here. -3. I think I'm going to make that official. I know they got manhandled and blasted by the Clippers earlier this year. I think the shooting numbers from those games are not sustainable long-term and not indicative of what we're going to see here. If the Wolves get it done, they're going to need a huge game from Anthony Edwards. So I wouldn't be opposed to player props, betting on him to have a good game as well. Is this a lock? Of course not, because there are no locks in sports betting. Is this a percentage play? I think it is, and you can make that official, Jimmy the Bag. Minnesota Timberwolves -1.
Is that the most serious I've seen Pete in 5 years? This guy
I'm preparing for the Low Bag Pub Sports Radio movie. It's gonna be hell. Run line. Fucking Oscar for this shit, man.
I know it wasn't a lock, but you, sir, looked locked in.
Yeah.
You, sir, looked locked in.
We can use that in the movie. I'll be like, Jim, there's no locks in sports betting, but you can be locked in.
Yeah, and then
that's the line for the movie. There you go.
I'm about to put that on my bio.
Varicose veins. Yeah. Varicose veins.
That was exactly. Fire.
Hell yeah!
Wow, I love that breakdown, Pete. I loved it. Now it is time for our expert Wham Bam to let us know how he is attacking this game. Take it away. This game's gonna be so much fucking fun tonight.
Yes, it is.
Wham, take it away.
This is the playoffs, man. This is the fucking playoffs. And I'm going head to head with Pete, man. I'm on the Clippers, bro. I'm on the Clippers. I got them at plus 3.5 last night. Got them at plus 3.5 last night. And yeah, I'm on the Clippers, bro. And the reason being is because, like you mentioned, you said it's not going to be indicative of what you're going to see today as far as those percentages on those other 2 games. But the game that they won, the Timberwolves, was without Paul George. Since he's been back, 22 points, 6.8 assists, killing on the boards as well. I gotta believe that an all-star superstar really has his own signature shoe. People don't talk about that shit enough. You know, he could be considered a superstar. You just not going to give it to him. Wow, he said, I gotta see what Jay So. What did Jay So put up here? Because Jay So has been on point.
Yeah, he's a great capper. So the Clips haven't fared well against the top defensive teams, losing to the Celtics, Mavs, and Raps in the last 3 weeks. They're going against the Clippers team, who's ranked number 1 in defensive efficiency over the last 3.
That is true. But I will say this. Pat Bev, like you mentioned, Pat Bev is the big piece of this puzzle. Pat Bev. This is the best team Pat Bev has been on in his career, the Clippers. This team set his career up, really. Let's be honest. Before he got on the Clippers and became this barking guy, he was already known for that, but his career was on a downward motion. He got rejuvenized at this team. So I think he takes one on the chin today. I think Paul George, even though Anthony Edwards said all they have to do is stop Paul George. Paul George has a lot more help than he did last year. You know what I mean? He has a lot more help that got him all the way to the Western Conference Finals. It's the reason why I got the Clippers to win the whole thing, locked it in earlier, because not only if Kawhi comes back, it's going to be a good value play, but I just believe that this Clippers team has been continuing to get slept on. They are not the Lakers. I think it's so easy to just diss LA right now because the Lakers suck ass. The Clippers are a really good team, and when they lock in, they are locked in. So I think I don't want to go against Pete right now, man. But I already made this bet already. So hearing his breakdown definitely I didn't sit well with me because I agree with everything he said, even though a lot of my capping had to do with those 2 games prior that he was in the lineup. I just think that he's the decision maker. I mean, on the court, and that gives Reggie Jackson a lot of leeway, a lot of leash to do what he does. I love the PG assist, like you just put up there, over 6.5, because obviously he's been averaging 6.8. This is a playoff game. They're going to try to isolate him, getting him out the ball. He's going to be passing the ball a lot more. So I think he goes over his average. And I just believe that it could be Pandemic P is over, bro. Pandemic P is over. This is playoff P now. We are in playoff P mode. We are in playoff P mode now. You dig what I'm saying? No. And I think the disrespect is going to stop, because he's going to continue to show that he's one of those guys, man, that we love watching playoff basketball for. He showed a little bit of that last year. I think he continues to show that in this game. And then again, it's not that bad if the Timberwolves lose. They get another shot at it, and they're going to win that next game, whoever they play out of the Spurs or the Pelicans. So I believe that they're still going to be a good playoff team in the playoffs, but just not tonight, man. I think it's the Clippers, and they lock it in, man.
So have you moved on futures with the Clippers?
I locked them when we went to Louisiana, bro. I hopped on FanDuel. They was hanging a plus 5,500, 55-1 for the Clippers to win. Right now it's at 44 or 49, I believe. 4,000 at Bovada for the Clippers to win the championship. So I've already beat that movement. I didn't lock that in like officially as far as like sending it out to people or anything, but yeah, that's a personal play that I dropped the unit on. So if it does win, believe me, I'm a big Clipper fan this playoffs, bro.
So wait, so you got the Clippers at what price to win it all?
55-1.
55-1. And just to win it all, not the West.
Just to win the whole thing. Because my reason being because if I get that close, I'm definitely going to be hedging out. You know what I mean? I'm definitely going to be hedging out. But honestly, I believe they can win it all if they get Kawhi back. I mean, he's not ruled out. They haven't ruled him out yet. And they say they ruled him out for the play-in. They win this game. They got a little bit extra time to play to get him back. So I really like that look, especially going up against – I don't like them going up against the Grizzlies. I will say that. I don't like them going up against the Grizzlies. I would rather for them to go up against what they did last year in the Suns and then possibly get Kawhi back in the first round. But I think they win today. So I like the Clippers today. Plus 130. I think you could get in at the money. I'm sorry, not I believe money line plus 130, but I think the 3.5 as well. So that's what I'm rocking with.
Wow, and Dan Kelly was also saying get in on Clippers futures. I looked at it for a long time, and I didn't pull the trigger. I don't know what to do in this game, and in all honesty, I know, when I say like the stakes are high, they're fucking high. Like we have, you need to succeed. We're trying to improve our lives. And, I'm trying to get out of fucking Parkdale. And so my plan was only bet the Raptors on the money line every game. That's it. Now, I don't know if I'll stick to that plan, but I feel like that's a money-making plan.
Yeah.
But this game is going to be so much fun, and I do want the action. And then Dennis Garcia crying with Luka. Let me ask you this. Is Luka going to play in game one? Or,
he's out. They already ruled him out, bro.
For game one?
Him out. Yeah, and it's without a timetable. When they ever say that without a timetable, I got to believe that if they are down or if they look pretty bad in that first round, I'm hoping Spencer Dinwiddie balls out because I'm going to be looking at his props pretty close without Luka in that game. So, but for the most part, yeah, no Luka, man. That sucks, bro. Tell him to go get Rudy Gobert. He's for sale. Get Rudy Gobert. Come back next year even harder. So that's what they should do.
All right, we have a final guest on the show. Please welcome back star of Say Hey Plays, One Whole Bouquet, also moving on this game. Take it away.
Pete, sorry, I'm on the Clippers. The refs apparently.
I like it more.
I
Sorry, now I like it more.
I got a text this morning from a Clippers friend of mine. He sent me just basically the breakdown on the refs, essentially that all three, or I should say, two of the three refs.
Oh yeah, they hate the Clippers.
They hate the Timberwolves. One of them is like 30th most or 30th least for foul calls for the Timberwolves. And it's two of the three of them. And then they're like second highest for the Clippers. And then the last guy is the opposite. So I'll take the 2v1 and I'll stick with the refs. Clippers win outright, money line.
Clippers.
Ed Mallory. He's when he's ref the Wolves game, they're 27th in free throws. When he refs the Clippers games, they're ranked 3rd. And Scott Foster is going to be in this game as well. Unfortunately, our good old buddy Scott, 29th in free throws for the Wolves. 2nd in free throws for the Clippers.
What does the NBA want?
It's all about the refs, y'all.
Yeah, let's just think about that. What is
fat
NBA
white girls?
Exactly, and that's what they go to Los Angeles for.
All right. Clippers at plus 129 is at Pinnacle. I don't know if we can beat that. Clippers at plus 129, Pinnacle for say. What are we locking in for you guys? I haven't locked anything in yet. So, Pete, first off, what are we locking in for you?
It might be on the wrong. Listen, I'm just trying to have a good time here. You know what I'm saying? My head college basketball is legitimate, but NBA, I mean, I guess -3, whatever, 108.
Minus 103 at Pinnacle right now.
Okay, I'll take that. And maybe, I don't know. I'm probably on the wrong side here and hedge it out with I mean, I think someone said the Edwards points total over at like 21.5 or 22.5 might be worth a shot anyway, even if the Clippers win. Man, I might be on the wrong side here.
Well, you're on the same side as Dennis Garcia. So
that's nice.
Yeah.
Take that. But it appears Sammy Culmer didn't come out and specifically say he likes the Clippers, but he did say Clippers peaking at the right time, which implies that he likes the Clippers. J-Sol picks, implying that he likes the Clippers. Clips with playoff experience, yes. And better coach, yes. Getting points, yes.
Turnsy's also on the T-Wolves. Okay, and Wham, what are we locking in for you? Oh, Wham just
lost Wham. He just cut his off. He didn't want to speak to us.
I believe he's on Clippers money line. I want to say he's on Clippers money line. So
he's actually on the +3. I remember.
Okay, well then there's a 2.5.
He's on the +3. Welcome back, Wham.
Yeah, I'm on the +3. Yeah, I'm on the +3. I took it the +3.5, but if we're not able to get that, it's totally fine. I'll take the plus. Oh, we are. Yeah, that's perfect. I'll take the +3.5 because that's exactly what I bet.
That here. Okay. Let me just do this quickly. Man, this was a wild, fun show.
Oh, and now, sorry. Leonard Porsche Jr., George in Vegas says, you're on the same side as me, Pete. Great. It's a loser. All right. I'll take it.
Yeah, I can get you +3. I can get you +3 now at -110, available at Circa Sports. Let's see if I can get 29 for. No, I can't. It's +125. All right, there you have it. Wham Bam. Thank you for all of your hard work, and we love you dearly and love capping with you. Thank you. Wham Bam has moved on. Bruce Brown over 13.5 points at -106. He tweeted that out with Garland double at +130, and he's on the Clippers +3.5 at -110. Say Hey play of the day from Jose Bouquet is the Clippers +129, and Pete is on the Wolves -3 at -103, and he looks less confident than he did.
It's times like these where you're like, this is all about having fun, having a good time, which I am. And even if it loses, I'll still have a good time,
It's a guaranteed winner. One of us is going to win.
Got experience, depth, coaching, and points. Sure. Yes.
There we go. Wham Bam, thank you for your hard work. Any last words for the Capper Sporting Show?
Oh, man, appreciate y'all, man. Y'all know what I do. Hoopbangers Sports Talk, Trot Wam on Twitter. My guy Pete, Jimmy, always love, man. Can't wait to see you guys in person once more. You already know, man. Wish you everybody to win and cash today, man. You already know.
Love it. There he is. Wham, bam, in the house. So we've reviewed NBA. Let's do a final review of NHL. Final review of NHL. Loshak's on the Sabres plus 2.5, and the Sabres team total over at plus 110. Sabres first period at plus 240. I like all those bets, but I'm only going to bet two of them. It'll be the Sabres team total over and the Sabres plus 2 or 2.5. I'll make that decision here in the next little bit. Loshak's on the New York Rangers team total over 2.5 at minus 118. He's on the Flyers team total over 2.5 at plus 110. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day is Washington minus 1. I'm going to move on Detroit. Do we have Grice locked in? Is Grice confirmed? Pete's on the Isles team total over 2.5 at minus 117. The Isles minus 1 at plus 180. Fascinating looks that I'll be watching very closely in that game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm going to move on the Wild minus 1. Pete's on the under 7 at minus 146. He's on the Preds team total over 3.5 at plus 105. And Slatsy's on the Preds in regulation. Pete's on the Blackhawks team total over 2.5. I'm going to move on the Kraken first period at plus 0.5 at minus 115. I forget his name right off my head, but I was told that this was a losing bet. Then Pete is on the Kraken team total over 1.5 at minus 162. I love that everybody is on, or that some people are on the Flames heavy. This is might be a lazy spot for them here. Might be. They're a very good hockey team. And then the over 6 in Lightning Dallas interests me. Pete's on the Stars team total over 2.5 at minus 125. I can understand why Dennis is on the Canucks, and I have interest in them. Under 6.5 and the Devils minus 1, I will be moving on. Piker's on Cleveland, first 5 minus 120. Milwaukee, Baltimore over 9 at minus 120. And Atlanta minus 1.5 plus 120. In baseball, the Pimp Slap play days, Red Sox money line. Hunter Engelhart is on the first half, under 4.5 in this Reds spot, and I'm going to roll with that. I'm going to take the first 5 under 4.5. Pete's on the Mariners, first 5 plus 100. I'm going to take the first 5 over 4.5, and yes to a run in the first inning. First 5 over 4.5 in Cubs Pirates. Lamont Williams, max bet is Tampa Bay team total over, solo team total over. I am interested in that. I'm going to move on the first 5 under 4.5 in Mets Phillies. Pete's on the Phillies, first 5 minus 0.5. I have interest in the over in Brewers Orioles. I'm going to look at it a little closer, and I have interest in the over 5.5. First 5 in Blue Jays Yankees. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day is the Yankees. Rusty Kuntz play of the day is Yankees team total over 4.5. Marlins Angels, we are off, but Pete's on the Braves minus 1 at minus 111. Big Ragu's on Tampa Bay minus 1 at minus 150. LA Miami over 9 and Houston minus 1 at minus 130. We're off Dodgers Twins. Taint play today's Cards team total over 4.5. Pete's on the Cardinals minus 1 at minus 116. And then we are off the final 3 games: Rockies, Rangers, Astros, Diamondbacks, Padres, Giants. There you have it. What a show. That was really, really fun. 3 hour, 11-minute show.
Can I just quickly say where's that guy? Leonard Porsche Jr. George in Vegas. I'm just kidding around. I think we are going to catch it. Shout out to you, Leonard Porsche Jr. George in Vegas.
Pete, any last words before I put a bow on this bad boy, man?
You know, my new favorite saying: there are no locks, but you should be locked in. No excuse for you not being locked in. Hell yeah. See you next Tuesday, Jimmy the Bag.
I will see you next Tuesday, and I love the opportunity to cap with you each and every day. Big thank you to our producer, Jose Bouquet, and everybody in the chat. You guys make this so special. Lou Chase Fox, Real Deal Prime, Turnsey, Piker, Eric Romero, Nut Flush, Allen, North Ender, Dennis Garcia, Rez Mob, El Dorado, Leonard Porsche Jr., Jay Peasy, Real Deal Prime, Jared TG, Mitch Fearing, who's also on the Clippers money line, Harold Williams, Millsy, MMA Locker Room in the house, Rez Mob, Astute Chaos, Alex Gagnon, Nasty Nate, Jay Soul, Dennis Garcia. I wish I could give a shout out to all you guys. James S. Truly do love all you guys. Thank you for your support. On behalf of all of us here at Pub Sports Radio, Jeff Slaughter, Jose Bouquet, and myself, Mr. Pistol Pete Loshak. Can't wait to do this again tomorrow, but we got a ton of action tonight. Leche. Hey, Los Bookmakers, milk that shit.